Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, good lord. Okay, so there's a lag now. I'm going to silence that. So, right, let me just adjust something. Properties. So, can I do that? Oh, it's going to shit. This is not the sort of thing to do live, ever. So now it's dead. Not for long. So that's Sky News, and it's not working. Yeah, so I can't go to the webcam, unfortunately. Oh, I can't fucking do it. Oh dear. Yeah, just going to kill that. So, yeah, welcome to 15 minutes after the world ended. I think, yeah, 20 minutes after the world ends. So, yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's it. It's all over now. So, oh, I'm breaking the internet right now. It's all gone totally, totally wrong. All wrong. So it's proper bad. So yeah. Oh. Oh, it's not a good look, people. So yeah, let's have a look. Let's see if anybody made it over to the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, definitely MG. Assuming that we don't have the yeah, that's totally messed up. Oh, they voted for that chubby fucker. Oh no. Oh. I'm going to look at John Burko for a bit. You blew it up! You mad bastards! Oh no. So, thanks for coming over, Grafin and Misanthropic Gods. I got my new haircut just in time, obviously. I tried to do clever things with scene switching and I had it all set up, but apparently if you set up OBS ahead of time, it deliberately wants to screw over your ability to transmit. So yeah. And I got a lag on screen of about 30 seconds. Oh man. So we got 6 people watching. Everybody should join the chat. Then I can see that you're here. Salut. This is whiskey that Stepjohn gave me at the end of EMF last year, and I haven't touched it in the meantime. But tonight is the night I'm going to be drinking. At least I'm drinking good booze. Oh, fuck, he's going to be unbearable. Wow. Oh. Cheers, MG. Raffin's off to get booze. Everybody be drinking now. Oh, unbelievable. So yeah. Oh, he's already unbearable. The Prime Minister has thanked everyone who voted, who volunteered and has stood as candidates. Oh, I hope so, Mr. Echo. Who said exit polls are all over the place these days. Oh, wow. Wow. So yeah, everybody's watching. We lost one. 5. Now I'm not surprised. Got to get some experience in doing live streams. We'll have to do them at some point, no doubt. There's going to be a lot of news in the next 5 years. Being pissed off with the government is going to be is going to be a full-time job. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stepjohn's in the Discord is saying Bojo will be a dictator. Not that I think, I think everybody that's watching the live stream is also in the Discord. Yeah, cheers, man. This one's for you too, MG. Wow. So nobody knows whether to type in the live chat or the Discord. Oh yeah, I think it's definitely an unquestioned mandate to Brexit. Jesus. Let's have a look. Yeah, things are going to shift around from the exit poll. Oh, and in a Trumpian move, Boris Johnson went straight to Twitter, based on the exit poll. Oh, at Misanthropic Gods, it's about could have about 6 years, or at least about 5 years. The dogfighting's already started. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm going to kill the volume on that because it was a bit distracting to do the live stream and be listening to the commentary from Sky News, which is super depressing. So we're looking at a Conservative majority of 368 with a majority of, yeah, like 180. Not, well, over Labour. So there's still, so it's about close to 100. And yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Although, so it should do. Although I can't hear that. Plus audio input capture. Pulse audio. Okay. Okay, it should be it. So can you hear me? Okay, so if you say something now. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay on the stream. So if you can hear Grafton, wave your hands in the air. Which I won't be able to see. I mean, with your keyboards, wave your hands in the air if you can hear Rembiman. And now we wait. Yeah, there's lag. I think a lot of people are live streaming tonight, though. Oh, he'll have forever to do dumb moves. Iron Angel. Oh, he's only hearing me, so let's... Will you say something again, man? Okay. And again? No, it's not coming in. Why isn't it coming in? Oh, hold on. Try again.
1 2 testing 1 2.
And again.
1 2. Hello.
Yeah, that seems like we're getting something, and we should be streaming that.
Okay.
So again, I'm depending on the other people in the chat to let me know that that's working. I can see the bars in OBS moved.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you looking at the chat as well?
Actually.
Yeah.
I just very quickly checked the stream.
Yeah, I've got it muted here. So. Yeah, you up yours and just see if you can hear it. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I can take it out of that and I can change it to some. I'm going to change my screen because all I can get working at the moment, and I can't be bothered to muck about with OBS. I had half an hour of it when we got the election results. I totally blew the timing. I should have set it for 9:30.
So you want to see? You want to hear some of the things that's coming out on leftist Twitter right now?
yes, we do.
Okay, so these are like the thing. This is why I wanted to join, because like there's at least some good stuff coming out of this, right? Or I say good stuff, at least some people getting an understanding of what's happening.
Okay.
Okay, so start with something that's like some stuff we knew already.
Yeah.
Michael Oman Reagan, PhD at Memorial U Anthropology of the Interstellar SETI Astrobio Queer Spacing.
Yeah.
Tweets. British media just did exactly what the US media did in 2016 when they put Trump in office. There can be no fair elections as long as billionaires control mass media.
Mm.
Mark Curtis, historian journalist on UK foreign policy, editor at Declassified UK. Books include Secret Affairs, Web of Deceit, Unpeople, The Great Deception. Media searching UK national press last 3 months. Number of articles covering, quote, Corbyn and anti-Semitism, 1,450. Quote, Johnson and Islamophobia, 164. Quote, Corbyn and IRA, 272. Quote, Johnson and Yemen and war crimes, 2.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing we need to take away from this, is that the media has been entirely on the side of the establishment.
See, I've only because I don't have a television, and I basically I realise that the only newspaper I read in print form is the Metro, and I know that's right wing for a start. I mean, literally, it's just, has anything important happened that I can get via the internet? No, and that's it. And I read the Guardian online. And from my personal bubble, I couldn't believe that Labour weren't going to win. Because if you look at the actual policies and read the manifesto, because I read both, the Tory manifesto and the Labour manifesto, but obviously that's not something that a lot of voters have done.
Yeah.
Oh, you hateful people. Yeah, wow.
Dominic Diamond, Games Master, tweeted, wow, so people in England really don't like hospitals, or schools, or poor people, or Europe, or humanity, or compassion.
Or education. Or broadband.
Getting richer.
Yeah, what a bunch of... Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's time to become a refugee at this point.
So, and following on from that, I know whose Twitter handle I'm not going to give out, but I'm going to paraphrase what they've said. If everything is correct, I say we take a leaf out of Hong Kong's book.
All right. Yeah.
Talking about the mass protests.
Yeah. Oh, it's post the link up in the Rant Discord. I should really, shouldn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Look, I can even do this. Look. Boom, boom. There we go. That'll get them all doing it. So yeah, good point, Misanthropic Gods. So that's posted up in the Rant Discord. I doubt whether we're going to get a shed load of people. But yeah, this is Rangers Radio live in the face of catastrophe. Drinking heavily. You know, wouldn't that be great if you saw it on real news? You know, someone like Cliff Mitchell going, oh, fuck it. And break open a bottle of scotch. And it's like, no, I'm going to start drinking. Don't none of you say anything trite.
I'm representing the gay side by having a rum and coke.
It's not that gay a drink though now. You'd have.
I'm being facetious. I'm being self-deprecating.
See, with a bit more preparation, you could have got mojitos.
It's just, well, it's technically. I had like I've got a bottle of emergency Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Yeah.
That I bought to make eggnog years ago. Used it for eggnog and haven't used it since. So I don't drink that much.
And now it's in an IV drip going straight into your arm.
Just fuck it to my veins.
I owes myself a little treat. It's okay. I've been swimming around. Wow, yeah, it's amazing how people read newspapers. Why the fuck would you do that? I will be interested to see. I mean, there are obviously going to be some Labour heartlands that didn't shift, but I'm not sure how accurate an exit poll could be, given how marginal the seats are.
Well, thing is about the exit poll is there's only 20,000 people polled.
Yeah, divide by 650. That's what? 3 would be 2,000. So 30 people. 30 people at each constituency. That depends what time of day you go.
It really does. And
you know, but they've historically been accurate in the past.
yeah.
And whilst it would be a lovely, lovely thing for it to all be reversed and it be the first wrong exit poll in forever,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing, so like, what I'm really sort of like feeling about this is that Labour's just going to backtrack and go back to the Blairite stuff, which is exactly what you didn't need to be. You need, I just, the amount of misinformation that's been going on in this run up to this election is the same as.
Yeah, I really tried to get a handle on the anti-Semitism.
So
I was really looking for, and then this person said this, any quote in the newspapers and online, and I couldn't find anything.
So I'm not gonna. I can't disprove it. There have been actual cases of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, right?
Mm.
And Corbyn's record historically and what he has been saying recently show that he is not an anti-Semite.
Well, I mean, there was a really good interview with John Bercow where John Bercow pretty much he just basically said, I've met and worked with Jeremy Corbyn for decades, and he has never once been anti-Semitic to me. But members of the Tory party have been, but no.
I would say, like, look at where the money goes, right? Or where the money's coming from.
Oh yeah.
If you look at, if you see the responses to these calls that Labour's anti-Semitic, right? Inherently anti-Semitic. There's a lot of Jewish organisations saying you can't focus on the Labour Party because it's rife in British politics. Every party has got a problem with anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Labour's actually considering it the best. It has the least amount of anti-Semitism in it. The Conservative Party is worse by a huge amount.
But I mean,
also, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic. The Conservative Party is like, but you didn't hear that because that didn't fit in with the narrative that the establishment has to win, and the Conservative Party are currently the establishment. The Muslim Council of Great Britain has been through this entire campaign working hard to try and highlight exactly how Islamophobic the Conservative Party has been. But it's fallen on deaf ears in the media, in the press, because it didn't fit the narrative.
I mean, I can. Oh, can I up Graffin's volume? Hold on a sec. I can. Let's just punch it. Punch it, Chewy. Yeah, there we go. See, this is why we have live chat, but this is also why I have OBS in a window just sized over the laggy window that I'm actually looking at. Because it's about 30 seconds. It's really disconcerting. It's muted, but even to see it is very weird. But yeah, so Kevin in the Discord posted a whole big chunk of stuff. That was definitely cut and paste. Ipsos Mori interviewed a representative sample of over 2,000 adults aged 18 plus across Great Britain. Interviews were conducted by telephone on the 9th to the 11th of December this year. Data weighted to the profile of the population. All polls were subject to a wide range of potential sources of error. And then it goes on, sort of like, on the basis of historical record, the polls at recent general elections, there is a 9 in 10 chance that the true value of a party's support lies within 4 points of the estimates provided by polls, and a 2 in 3 chance they will lie within 2 points. So there's a bit wide variation in any poll, is what it's saying. And that's Ipsos Mori, that's all they do. And Mori especially do a lot more consumer polls and stuff like that. I need my black beret on. I don't even know where it is. I think it might be on top of the giant minion that is in the other corner of the room. Possibly knocked off by the cat. So yeah,
I mean, Harlequin said he doesn't understand how Labour's lost 71 seats.
yeah,
And the only way I can see that is if this campaign of disinformation has had the effect that they've been aiming for it to have.
I really also don't get that people can't stand Jeremy Corbyn. You know, he's just an ordinary bloke
Yeah.
that goes, things could be better. You know, stuff could be a lot better. It'll be expensive because we've wasted gigantic amounts of money under the Tories. Yeah, they're just gonna. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so here's hoping. We're not going to find out till tomorrow what the gig really is. And it'd be a lovely thing to believe that it's actually completely wrong and it swaps around. Because, I mean, they're already saying there's no way the SNP have got 55 seats in Scotland. So, yeah. It's amazing. So yeah, but yeah, you're entirely right. It does seem to be mass media. Well, because when you ask people why they don't like Jeremy Corbyn, they can't really tell you.
No.
And that's.
Or it's something that's been thoroughly debunked.
But you're just going to go, but Boris Johnson is a wanker.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely, provably is. You know, I could write an essay on all the horrific, terrible things Boris Johnson's done, and it would be even if it was just a list, it would be like 2 sides of A4 for the really shitty things he's done. You know, like there's even this Russia report that's hanging over him. Did he take money from Russia? Yeah. If he didn't release the report during the election, the answer is yes. You know, did he illegally give a woman he was boffing £120,000? Yes. When he was mayor. You know, that's prison. That's for anyone else for that level of fraud. With taxpayers' money. You know, I mean, what's it? I watched. I can't remember what show it was. It was some stupid chat show where they were talking about the affair with the blonde American woman, and I can't remember what her name is, but she doesn't really require remembering. And you know, this other woman was saying, well, you know, it was just, you know, it's money. Men have always paid money to women. And one of the other people on the chat show went, no, taxpayers' money. He didn't give his money to this woman. He gave our money to this woman. It wasn't his to give. You know. Which is like, you know, the most expensive... It's got to be the most expensive prostitution of all time. I mean, that's up there with Stormy Daniels and Trump. I mean, it's almost, you know, find the mirrors between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump. You know, and people voted for Donald Trump. You would think not one person. But the religious, you know, right in America is with Donald Trump. You know, who is a proven fornicator. You know, it's like, really? You voted for Satan?
I've just checked what the exit polls think is going to be the result in my area.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Labour hold.
Yeah. Let's have a look. I'll pull up an exit poll map. Because, I mean, all we've got for ages yet is the exit poll.
Yeah, it's going to be... probably going to be like about 3 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even find them. Where are you looking for the map?
I'll send you the link, Karen, so it's a link on the BBC site. You can put your postcode in.
Yeah. need all this technology.
If you're in the constituency, I think you're in, it'll be a Labour poll for you as well, based on the exit polls.
Yeah. Oh, at least I could, let's go for Manchester. Manchester Central, those are the people I'll be looking at. That's also a likely Labour hold. So at least the people I'm looking at, I'm not thinking, you bastards. I'll have to commute. I'll have to get a train and go to... what's the most... I'll probably have to go to Essex to get my hate on. Imagine, that will be our drinking tour of the UK for next year. We'll just go to various places that voted Conservative, have a pint and just watch them go by and just think, you bastards. This is your fault, you fucking idiots. You had the chance of Star Trek. Minimum, basic minimum income was going to be tried under the Labour Party. They were going to try it. And everybody that tries it goes, that's actually a really fucking good idea. Canada, Belgium, France is trying it, all the civilised places of the world. And not only are we not going to have that, which would have meant poverty would be impossible. True grinding, poverty was going to be pretty much impossible to achieve. Not only were they going to do that, but they was also going to put in council housing, free adult education, free internet. They're going to nationalise all the shit that we need if we're ever going to fight a war without negotiating with corporations, which would suck. It would have meant a whole bunch, complete rebuild of the green infrastructure of the UK. They'd have probably sorted out something decent in the way of a new nuclear reactor, all that kind of shit. It would have been as close to Star Trek as you can get, but no. No, we want more public school boys. Just, we want more millionaires and billionaires running around. We want to put up with Jacob Rees-Mogg and Michael Gove and Boris Johnson for the next eon. Yeah.
Well, he wants to get rid of the fixed term.
Yeah.
That's so you can stay in Parliament for as long as you want.
And the Tories will all vote for that. They're quite happy to vote for that, and then they'll try and remove him from office at some point. Because nothing. The problem is that although Boris is popular with the cousin fucking idiots out there, and everybody that reads the Daily Mail, although he's popular, he's a loose cannon. You can't have a financial market, which is what the Tories are banking on getting and retaining. Because it will well be the Wild West for tax. It'll be the one place near to Europe, possibly with a kind of a, the very first thing, I guarantee you, the very first part of the trade agreement that will be enacted immediately is some kind of financial trade agreement. And it will be too much money for anybody to ignore. It will be the shift.
You're right. Because I would say there is a mirror between Pocho and Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Jaden's here. Wow. Yeah, wow. What a result. That's crushing. But yeah, they'll need to get rid of him. And because you also can't have him doing the trading negotiations. Oh man, can you imagine him trying to do trade negotiations?
I'm just looking at there are Labour MPs, or at least people who are trying to get to stay in Labour side, who are now blaming Corbyn for the loss of this. And
Yeah.
one of them said specifically, both have taken for granted Labour's heartedness, right? And I think that's a very, very, very short-sighted and easily misunderstood, or some reason shows that they don't actually understand what's going on. It's already we're seeing, essentially already what we're seeing now is people blaming Labour's defeat on Corbyn's popularity, when it's not. We can see that, really,
Yeah.
quite easily.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look at it, it's nothing to do with the heartlands, and it's everything to do with the fact that there's a large amount of people in this country that want implicitly. And this like newspapers, news programs, what have you, sort of stuff they see on Facebook, they believe it.
Yeah, I guess.
So being allowed to get to this point is what's caused the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem with having free speech, and I'm using free speech in quotes here because it's it's that sort of idea that nothing is too wrong, right? That has led to this. In that, did you see that article about like the six biggest tech companies in Silicon Valley
Yeah.
hold more influence than anything else?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like Facebook recently said that they won't screen their adverts for political adverts. Don't screen them anymore to see if they're clean.
Well, it'd just be too much work, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. In case you're playing the home game, and I'm sure Jaden will be interested, this is 12-year-old Highgrove single malt that I'm drinking. It's cask number 44. It was bottled in April 2018, but it was distilled in September 2005, and it's bottle number 17 out of that cask from the Highgrove distillery, as in the one that's owned by the Prince of Wales. It's quite a special bottle of whiskey, to be honest. It was that whiskey that Step John gave me back at EMF. Yeah, so cheers, Step John, who is also on this night expecting his first child. And when I say expecting in the way that you're waiting behind the door for the postman. Like she was due yesterday.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So it is pretty fancy whiskey. I'm amazed. He just opened it the day before and he said, "Oh, I'll leave that here." And I went, "Well, yeah, okay." So I must admit I kind of pounced on it because out of all of us that were there, I actually like whiskey.
You know what I'd actually like to see of these results? Election results? Just very quickly, I've just thought of it, right? I'd like to see what the youth vote is like.
Yeah, I think when they break it down by demographic... Oh, you can't do that though, can you?
I think they can. I think they can break it down by demographic.
I think you can sort of say... Well, not even that really. You can tell that those people voted, but you can't tell what they voted. You can make an assumption based on... I bet all the university towns were probably very heavily Labour.
Yeah. Well, except for the very expensive Labour town.
And just to catch up on the chat, Misanthropic God said that is some fancy whiskey. And then Jaden sort of one-upped everybody by saying he bought a bottle of Louis XIII, which is a type of brandy that is monumentally expensive. Jaden has a whole story about finding out how expensive it is to buy it by the shot. It's about 250 quid a shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, especially if you drink it in Debenhams.
Yeah, okay.
You know. So yeah. he is the most. He has a very interesting taste in watches and booze. Interesting guy, Jaden. You should come and hang out in the Discord. But yeah, that's just So this is this 12-year-old is exactly my favourite sort of whiskey. And I hope I don't drink too much of it, but it might be going that way. I might have to switch out to Jack and save the whiskey, the really good whiskey, for another time. But I've probably had about 3 shots at this point. Yeah. But it's so weird how newspapers and the BBC, particularly, have swayed this whole election almost. I mean, you have to almost admire it in its weight. The amount of effort that the information warfare team must have put in.
Mm-hmm. So.
Holy shit! I'm sorry, I've just seen the chat. At that point, that's investment booze. You can't never drink that. You've got to basically. That's like owning art at £3,000 a bottle. Sorry, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel really bad for the people who are probably gonna die because of continued austerity.
Oh yeah, I had a look to see if I could find a word for genocide based on income level, and the closest I could get under UN definitions, and the UN haven't really declared it a war crime or anything, but the closest I could get was social cleansing. There isn't a word for annihilating people, for the misfortune of being poor.
Capitalism?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if you live in places like, like Iron Angel, who lives in Michigan. Harlequin's in the chat now. Oh yeah, but yeah, you just think you literally can now just throw money at an election. It's not been possible up until now.
Yeah.
But people are going to die.
Yeah, people are going to die.
Oh right, apparently the strike isn't until tomorrow. Well, yeah, but it is tomorrow shortly. Before we'll find out anything for definite, it will be tomorrow. So yeah. But it is the 13th if you're Harlequin. He's in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
They're 6 hours ahead. 8 hours ahead. At least. So yeah. You literally can, but you can if you know. I mean, Cambridge Analytica will have been all over this. You can see their footprints everywhere. But that's the problem when you go after, the people who own the newspapers. Bearing in mind the newspapers do not generally make much of a profit. If they make a profit, it's chicken feed. Because it costs so much to print and get them out there. But, the people that run the BBC, given that Jeremy Corbyn was seriously thinking of getting them to make their own money. He was at least going to claw back the free licence fee if you're over 75.
He was going to do that, and he was also going to make it fully independent. Still paid for by a licence fee, but independent of the government, so that essentially it would have had a charter set, right? And to get its charter changed, it would have to ask for permission. But the government would no longer be able to use the charter hanging over its head like the sword of Damocles, saying, if you don't play nice for us, we will cut your funding.
Yeah. And Boris Johnson said some scary shit, like when he didn't turn up to that climate debate and they didn't let Captain Chipmunk take his place.
Yeah.
He said, we'll have to review Channel 4's licence to broadcast.
Because Channel 4's been the only news company that's actually been taking Boris Johnson to task.
Yeah. It's damn scary, is what it is.
So I just seeing this tweet here that's just so short-sighted. I have to read it out because I think it shows like what this highlights how the media has changed perceptions. Right? Someone tweeted, Gordon Brown and Ed Miliband were nowhere near as unpopular as Corbyn. And then someone countered that by saying Corbyn's election to party leader was the most popular election that Labour had for decades.
Yeah.
He won his premiership with the biggest margin because of the large influx of new members brought on because of him. The reason that everything's gone down for him, the reason he's unpopular now is because people have been told to think that he's unpopular by the media.
It's just amazing. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's all they had to work with. Nobody likes him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, you know, pretty amazing. Like, they couldn't find, you know, rumours of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, but not Jeremy Corbyn. Because it's real hard to say someone's been anti-Semitic when you've got, like, zero notification of it.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the accusations of anti-Semitism came from regional Labour Party meetings.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, who knows who's a member of the Labour Party? It's not like you go through a background check. I mean, you could have, you know, there is anti-Semitism across the country, albeit in a very minor way, but it only has to be one idiot shouting out something in the middle of the meeting.
Yeah. It's like, well,
for there to be anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. I can't see it myself.
I was saying earlier, anti-Semitism is rife within the entire British political system.
You know.
That's from you could say there is anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. That's like saying that it rains when the water is wet, you know, because it's the same for any of them.
Yeah.
Or I should say, sorry, that's a bad analogy. It's not like saying water is wet. Saying that it's like Plato's man. Right? You know the whole Plato's man thing?
No, you'll need to educate me on that one.
Oh wow. Okay, so do you know Diogenes?
Yeah, the guy looking for the honest guy with a lamp.
Right, yep. So Diogenes was at one point hanging around a lot of philosophers in Greece. And at one point someone had come up to Diogenes and said, "Oh, have you heard? Plato's come up with the ultimate description for what is a man." And Diogenes said, "Really? What is it?" Plato says that a man is a featherless biped. So the story goes that the next time Plato was doing a presentation, a speech, Diogenes comes bursting in, stark naked, holding a chicken that he's plucked, saying, "Behold, Plato's man."
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. It's like,
there is a reason Diogenes was universally unpopular, wasn't there?
yes. But yeah, no, it's like anti-Semitism is rife within every single party. None of them don't have it. But Labour's like the best at getting rid of it. It's like it's got the least amount of it.
Well, they could hardly call the Labour Party, you know, out and out racist because of, you know, it's a pretty, there's quite a lot of different peoples represented in the whole Labour cabinet, the shadow cabinet.
Yeah.
You know, you can hardly accuse them of not having enough women or not having enough people of colour or anything like that. They do try and sort of weight it and at least, you know, give people the opportunity to progress within the Labour Party. But yeah,
as I was saying earlier, like, look at the instances of the
I
Tory
think
party being.
I think Jeremy Corbyn's real problem with this election is he went after rich people in a very Bernie Sanders kind of a way, and the rich people really were quite prepared to throw quite a lot of money at him not being Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah.
I bet that the pound has gone up in value, even though it's not allowed to be traded while we're having a general election and it's recommended that you do not buy. I bet the pound shot up in value. I bet people are making money off this.
Oh no, it has gone up. Yeah, but I did see it was on this thing about it. The pound has gone up.
Significantly.
So the pound was at £1 would buy you $1.02.
That's as low as I can ever remember it. Yeah.
It is now. It will now currently, if you could trade based on it, buy you $1.20 something cents.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's like 86 points, I think, you went up by.
Yeah.
$1.35. So yeah, it jumped up. Trading at $1.35.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. So as it's happening, people, let's just see. I'm going to zap back onto Sky News, but yeah, we've got nothing in at the moment. I'm sure they'll round up some smug-looking Tories. I'll have to switch away if Michael Gove appears on the television.
Oh, they probably will, yeah.
You can't have the squirrel puppet from Bo Selector be a minister. Oh no. However, it must have been absolutely lovely to be the producer of that Channel 4 climate debate to tell Michael Gove no. Yeah, I want to be on television. The thing is, he brought a camera crew, which was really stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they'd obviously, security's phoned up, and even security must have thought, fucking hell, this will be good. Just phoning upstairs and go, I know you're about to go on air, but Michael Gove is in the lobby demanding to be on your programme. Would you like to come down and talk to him? He's got a camera crew with him. And the producer's gone, oh yes. Hold my fucking beer. I'm in there. I definitely want to do that. No. But this is Boris Johnson's dad. Still no. And I'll raise you a messiah. What? Who have you got that I'm going to let in that chat that isn't Boris Johnson and isn't Nigel Farage? Show me that person. Nigel Farage would have been torn to shreds on any kind of, debate about the environment. He'd want the environment to pay its own fucking taxes or something. It'd just be insane. He'd blame the environment on Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of it. It's like, wow. The wealthy people really don't want any sort of change, do they? They're proper against it. So, not that anybody's listening too hard. We've got 8 people watching. That's 8 people more than I thought there'd be. So we're on a win. Put your hands in the air. Yeah, Murdoch also owns... It is a Murdoch thing, isn't it, Sky?
Sky, yeah.
Yeah. Every last fucking paper. They're all owned by billionaires, and they're all owned by non-domicile billionaires. They're all owned by billionaires that don't even live in this country. But their money does. Their money parties and goes on holiday in this country. In fact, it visits many, many islands in its year-round trip. That money's on what an Edwardian person might call the Grand Tour of exotic places. Yeah. Like the Turks and Caicos, like, Panama, like all kinds of fucking places. And it travels around and doesn't ever pay any tax. So yeah. Yes, Murdoch owns Sky. They own lots of stuff. Like an unbelievable amount of stuff. And they all thought Jeremy Corbyn being Prime Minister was a bad idea. And they made it fucking happen because people are stupid. It's just like, when has anybody ever questioned how much something was going to cost if it benefited them? You know, here's a £10 an hour minimum wage. Oh, really? You sure you don't need it more? Of course I need it more. I'm on the minimum fucking wage. You know, here's more money than we can possibly afford for the NHS. Oh, right, I've just been in a road traffic accident. Are you sure? Because, I'll happily pay the £6,000 it will cost me to get airlifted to the hospital before they even look at me. Crazy shit like that is going to happen, and people are going to die. Elderly people aren't going to call ambulances. And largely it was elderly people that will have voted in this government. That's the crying shame.
It really is.
Seriously, if all you're doing, fair enough, if you're in your 60s to your 80s, you probably don't use a lot of computers, you probably don't read The Guardian, you probably, don't have access to the internet. Or rely on it for your information bubble, like I sadly have for the last few weeks. And you probably think that Boris is an all-round good bloke that sounds a bit like Winston Churchill, who you remember when he died and all that sort of shit. And they've just gone, I'll vote for the funny one, because the other one doesn't like Jews, and we fought in a war to save the Jews, and then that's how it went down. Just like, wow. Yeah, you just literally went on surface minutiae and bullshit. Of course, wealthy people are going to tell you can't afford decent, upgrades to the NHS.
Yep.
Wow. And I thought he'd totally fucked himself by hiding in a fridge from Good Morning Britain, of all people. The people that were going to go lightest on him. But we're going to still have to ask like a couple of searching questions. What fucking happens when the I've remembered her name, Jennifer Arcuri scandal comes out? And what's going to happen when that Russia report comes out? Now I've got to tone down my language because Tilda's here. Because Harlequin's kid, who's a very interesting young person and does interesting stuff and owns a ThinkPad. How's that?
Oh, wow.
As a 7-year-old with a ThinkPad, how cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
I keep telling her to go and do cool shit with it. Pardon my French. But I've been drinking now. Welcome to an objective lesson on British politics. People are stupid. Learn this lesson well. Don't ever forget it. Adults are capable of extreme stupidity. So yeah. And it's not clever to drink alcohol or smoke while we're here. But I am going to have to do it. Or I will go bang. But at least both you and I have got this thing where when we go out and look at the people in the streets tomorrow, we don't have to instantly hate them.
No.
Imagine if we lived somewhere that had voted Tory.
Yeah.
Like a landslide Tory win. And you would have to look at them and go, wow, you did this.
Yeah.
And it will take a supreme effort on my behalf to be empathic with you when you tell me that stuff's going wrong in your life that is, basically as a result of this election.
I've got to work with 2 people who voted Tory.
It's not that so much. It's that they're like, look, I get that some people that have money or have savings or own a home or something like that could be a bit panicked by a massive overspend by the Labour Party. I get it. But, it just... Boris Johnson, page 48 of the Tory manifesto. It properly means it bodes poorly. Oh. Yeah, it does not look good. On top of Brexit as well. I think some people in Europe were at least looking at us like, well, they didn't know anything about it. People voted stupidly. they're in a position now they can change it. Perhaps they'll change it. Computer says no. It really is. You know. It is a massive chunk of computer says no. Easily programmed people say no. Oh shit. You mean people are stupid? Intelligence is on a bell curve? Yeah. You know, if the average IQ is 100, that means there's a shed load of people with an IQ of less than 100. I can't imagine what that must even be like. Bear in mind, I completely understand that people with a lot of money or a lot of money invested in stuff, I get it, that Corbyn was totally going after him. And I get that. And I don't blame anybody that's got a lot of money, particularly for voting Tory. I'll get that out of the way straight away. What I do have a problem with is anybody that stands to lose fucking everything under the Tories voting for him. This is like, oh shit, you know, even crappier childcare. When we leave the EU, we'll have really shitty working conditions. We'll have really shitty working conditions. However, this might drive people to become more unionised. So that there is that faint glimmer of hope. Probably not though, because that would just be logical. You know, like, I don't know, voting Labour this year. You know, and it was just like when Jeremy Corbyn says, you know, the average UK household will be better off per year under a Labour government by about £7,000.
So
and people went, no, vote Tory, thanks, because he's funny, he's got a sense of humour, and he's going to get Brexit done. James O'Brien must be exploding right now.
I haven't even looked at James's Twitter.
You should check it out while we're live. So, for those of you who don't know, who are out there watching the live stream, which I am amazed it's still 7 people, 8 people including Tilda. I'm amazed it's that many, but he is a journalist who has the only, I repeat, only vaguely left-wing show on all of LBC. Another presenter on LBC is Nigel Farage. Let's put that in perspective. LBC gets phoned up when Nigel Farage is on by Donald Trump. That's how right-wing it is. And there's just one left in the whole fucking building. And he does this show where he talks to people and tries to get people to tell him, this is all he's done for 3 years, tell me why Brexit is a good idea. Just somebody. Anybody give me one. It's like he's on a guess your weight booth at a carnival going, one reason Brexit's a good idea. Just one. Any time. Any of you. You know, just one solitary thing that will be better after Brexit. And nobody, it's like being James Randi, nobody has ever managed to phone in and satisfactorily say why Brexit is a good idea.
So James has retweeted a thing from guy David Ongreen. The ultimate problem is not that the politicians lie. It really isn't. The ultimate problem is that voters do not mind being lied to. Until voters care about being lied to, what happened today will happen again and again.
Yeah.
And then James tweeted after that, we're about to discover that clarity, quote, like Brexit, has a million different meanings.
Oh. I tell you what though, I'm definitely listening to LBC tomorrow when James O'Brien's on 11 till 1. That's 11 till 1 British winter time. So that's so that'll probably be 10 o'clock Zulu time.
Yeah.
Spring forward, fall back, or it's either that or mid 1200 Zulu time. But do check it out because it's hilarious. That's all he does. He waits for people to phone in and tell him why Brexit's a good idea, and now he's just gonna. I just want to see how he is. If I was James O'Brien, I wouldn't go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd just phone up and say, you absolutely do not want me in there. Play some light music or some shit. You know, because I ain't coming in. No way. I'll see you Monday when I've had a lot to drink. Oh, it's amazing. You know, all those people that were supposed to be voting tactically as well.
Yeah.
Mind you, do you think the people doing the exit poll would have turned up at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day?
They apparently turned up from 11 o'clock in the morning and stayed there for a few hours.
Yeah, see, that's not a representative spectrum of people, is it?
Well, 20,000 is not exactly a good sample size, to be honest.
You know, so to be honest, if I was a Labour voter, did you vote like real early this? Well, you postal voted, didn't you? Or
yeah, I did.
Everybody sensible postal voted. I like going into a polling booth, and it allowed me to make that quasi-legal video earlier today. So yeah, so I think Labour voters were more likely to vote before work, unless they didn't have an option to. There were a lot of people queued up early in the morning, apparently all over the country.
All right.
So if the people doing the exit poll were basically, 11 till 1 o'clock,
So
that's not people with jobs, is it? If you're there for 2 or 3 hours from 11 till say 2, taking up to 30 things, you're not getting a lot of people for a start, but you're also, I mean, obviously they had a number of people to ask. This is for the exit poll. And they didn't turn up. They weren't there when people were coming home from work or when people were going to work. So that's a different demographic altogether. Than, I voted pretty early. I left it till after 9 because I figured they'd be busy. And it is in my road. It's not like I've even got to turn a corner particularly to get to the polling station. If I was particularly strong, I could probably throw a brick at it from here.
Well, here's going to be the interesting thing, right? There was a whole thing I saw earlier today going around called the Youth Quake. And it was essentially showing like the amount that people who are in their 18 to 30s, people in 18 to 30s have gone out to vote in huge numbers. Hence, youthquake.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the Guardian's feed. There were photos of like really long queues of people waiting to vote.
Yeah, which is why I'm like really interested to see what the demographic split's going to be between age groups.
Yeah.
About parties voted for, because here's the thing. I might be wrong on this, but I believe if they want to oust Corbyn as Labour leader, if there are people in the Labour Party who want to oust Corbyn as Labour leader, it still has to go through a party vote.
That's going to be fucking difficult. There's loads of new members of the party.
The majority of the Labour Party is...
It's 18 to 35. Yeah, when they did that sign up to the Labour Party for £3, millions of... You couldn't do it. It crashed the website the moment they announced that. Loads of people went, yeah, we want Corbyn. So I think that's really pissed off the Labour old guard as well. No, I'm not saying there was sabotage, because Labour obviously were working pretty hard to... I mean, really, if you were running an election, you say, I'm going to do all this good shit. We're not going to do any of the bad shit that the other party are going to do. And the other bloke in charge is a complete knob. But here is some honestly costed shit that we need to do in order to sort out our economy. And we will sort out Brexit. We'll go and talk to them, figure out what it is we can do. Because Europe want us to stay within the same workers' rights limits. They want us to stay within the customs union. They want us to stay within all that. It's going to cost us a shitload more. But if we want to pretend we're out of Europe, but actually, to all intents and purposes, including respecting the European Court of Human Rights, which was on the Labour manifesto, that's not really leaving the EU at all.
It's not.
That's staying in the EU and it costing more. And when it comes to the referendum, they will say it's staying in the EU, but it just costs more.
This is the thing, isn't it? It's like...
But whatever the Tories manage to sort out will be staying in the EU and it costing more, because they're not going to napalm British industry any more than they've had to over Brexit. They can't, because they own it. that all that industry they own. Those MPs are shareholders in and have stock in those huge companies that make a profit every year. So they can't afford to nuke it. That's why I think Bojo's gone. You know, they'll have the Russiagate thing just come out the day after and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, old chap. You did rather take money from the Russians." And then put someone else, some kind of terrible, terrible human being. Jacob Rees-Mogg could be our next Prime Minister, in actual fact. That's who they put in. But Jacob Rees-Mogg is at least smart enough when the Foreign Office go, we now have to negotiate with France over X. You know, the number of keys on a British keyboard on a computer we're exporting to them. And it will be 3 weeks. Jacob Rees-Mogg is at least smart enough to go, yes, you guys go and hammer out the best possible deal we can get. He isn't going to go there and ask the Italians why the ITAIs don't like our keyboards. Boris Johnson might.
The thing that gets me the most, and it's the thing I'm most...
Because it's what Trump would do.
Yeah, the thing I'm most disappointed in with all this is that it's been lies since the 90s. There's been so much dishonesty in politics since the 90s, since New Labour at least. Blaming stuff on the EU, blaming just constant blame on the EU, which has led to Brexit. And more lies on top of lies on top of lies, which has led to this now. And it's just yeah, that's why we're in this situation now, because some people, I don't know, just apparently some people can be lied to and they believe it. Demonstrably lied to. Maybe there's more people in this country who, despite saying that other people in bubbles, are actually in their own bubbles and don't realise it. Perhaps it's a very much a sort of they live sort of thing. You know, with obey, spend.
Oh shit! Don't. I mean, the most positive spin I can put on it right now, bearing in mind I'm probably now 4 shots into the whiskey, is that it totally legitimises the whole rant media ranger standpoint in looking at the core political world. And it's just let me just say, I didn't want to be vindicated in my stockpiling of food, learning to live off the land and doing all that survival shit, learning how to use radios and computers and stuff, and producing media about it. You know, I feel a bit justified at this point. You know, day one of Rangers Radio, it's got to be 12 years ago now. You know, when you know, I do remember sort of having this conversation with you about, am I paranoid? You know, because I'm pretty sure we both sort of just went, are we being paranoid at this point? By saying, oh, look at this. There's some political analysis tools that are being used to sway elections. Oh, I think that should be in the news roundup this week. Oh, yeah, some people have been caught harvesting people's private data in order to manipulate them for advertising. Is that a bad thing, or are we just being weird? And just a dozen or so people worldwide just going, no, I think that too. Not in any kind of local way, you know, Scotland, Canada, America, Belgium. I think we had a couple of people in Israel as well at one point. That was cool. But yeah, just some very random people just going, yep. A couple of people in Poland. You know, loads of people in America. You know, people in Australia. I mean, you know, it is a world-spanning kind of thing. But it doesn't seem to be many people that are just sitting there going, all right, that doesn't seem off to you. You know, you don't want to sound like John Malkovich in Red. You know, be living in a buried, you know, in a bunker that you get in through a car boot. Or any crazy shit like that, or have a rocket launcher inside a pig. You know, but, you know, every one of us that was watching John Malkovich in Red was just going, yeah. You know, we've all watched The Hunted and go, actually, the Benicio del Toro's character is probably quite justified. thought Rambo's reaction was reasonable for the entirety of the movie instead of just towards the end. Just like, this is a reasonable response to me, to the crazy shit we see in the world on a daily basis. And this has got to be some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. It is though, isn't it? Where you just go, like, oh, what is that in the in the text, or?
Yeah, and Angel just said, "I'm getting the pig."
It is though, isn't it? When you just think, it doesn't seem weird to me. And there's more than a few of us that have watched Silence of the Lambs and thought, you know what, I'd probably be pretty safe around Hannibal Lecter. Because I'm not trying to bullshit anybody, just like, yeah, I understand. You're going to go and kill very aggravating people, right? I was like, oh yeah, only the very most aggravating people. It's like, fuck, I'll unlock you myself. Oh, there you go, mate. There's no way I'm standing... if you look like you're going to escape, give me the nod like you've actually got an escape plan that would totally work. And to be quite honest, mate, I'll just let you out. How's about that? Go and kill the fabulously fucking annoying. It's quite alright. In the way that Jodie Foster is at the end of Silence of the Lambs. No, I'll be fine. There's a lot of aggravating people in the world for him to kill. He'll be busy for long before he gets to me. Oh, shit.
Right, I'm going to have to head off, dude.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah.
Stop for a short bit, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm sure I'll probably be on for a bit more, but it won't be as much fun. If anybody would like to call me in Discord, we've now got it sorted out. Yeah. Oh, it's a phone in now. See, we've made it much more relevant rather than just two people going shit. I am the only rational man in the village. Yeah.
Oh, you know what we can do now?
No thank. Oh shit! Ultimate space reference. I'm still going to be broadcasting at 8 o'clock in the morning. It will be a whole Resident Evil moment for me if somebody wakes me up.
Well, if you are, I'll see you.
It's going to be a long night. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Rembimon. It was cool.
Take care, friend.
So, yeah. So, if you have the capability to make... oh, shit. If you have the capability of pressing all the wrong buttons... or you want to call in and you got the capability, I think it works now, so just phone in on the Discord. Please put headphones on though, it's astoundingly aggravating if you don't have headphones. It really does make all the difference to being able to have a conversation. So yeah, who'd have thunk it? 8 people still watching, broadcasting for 88 of your Earth minutes. So yeah, so I will keep going as long as people keep calling in. That scared you all off, isn't it? But yeah, this is a heavy drinking moment. When somebody literally offers you, okay, we've thought about it and this is as close to Star Trek as we can get people. Here you go, all in one fell swoop, not over many decades. And whilst the planet gets absolutely destroyed in the annihilation of ecological and societal collapse. But yeah, so you can have everything, or a second darkness that will cover the land from Mordor. Those were your choices. And all you had to do was read a fairly short document to find out what those choices were. Maybe read it with a highlighter in case you had to go back and double check some shit. But it's really not good. So, cheers everybody. It is an absolute wicked waste. I will be switching to Jack Daniels, which I have a lot of, for no good reason. Yeah, I think this particular bottle of Jack Daniels was a Christmas present from my mum before she passed away. So there you go. This is absolutely the best time to be drinking heavily, and I think she would agree. So yes, in memoriam. But wow. Oh. As far as if you're not playing the home game where you've got zillions of windows open, according to Sky News, there are three results so far. So Labour have won 2 seats and the Conservatives have won 1, but this happened last time there was an election, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to. But yeah, it says Labour have lost 1 seat and gained 1, which doesn't make sense with the upper figures, so I'm sure we're fine. So the exit poll has a Conservative win with a majority of 86, which means they can do what they like. Oh, incoming message. Let's see if I can call him back. Oh, can you hear me?
Alright.
Yeah! Okay, so let me just check the magic box of automated levels. You say something?
Hello.
Yay! Misanthropic God's in the house. How cool! How cool is that? Welcome to the pity telethon. Yeah. I promise you, man, I will book off the 2020 American elections, and I will join you. You must do a live stream, or somebody that's in America must do a live stream, or somebody like definitely, or Iron Angel. We'll get an American live stream and we'll show solidarity. It's like, no, we've got to be here for this.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Done with that. Hopefully it's not quite as bad as yours seems to be going, or the last one. So,
mind you,
for us,
we'll have had an era of Tory rule, so some people might look at that, a year of Boris Johnson being Prime Minister, and then look at Trump and go, oh, fucking no. just no.
I hope so.
Not at any price, yeah. But yeah. So wow, yeah, we could have had Star Trek, but no.
But no. Yeah.
A nice old guy that has an allotment, that grows his own vegetables and is a vegetarian, and actually thinks about things and would like to make things better for poor people. But he's not very well liked.
He's not a billionaire.
Yeah.
He doesn't own a media conglomerate.
But yeah, it must be like, sort of like, I want to go to Jeremy Corbyn and go, now you must at least have thought, this is how Jesus felt on the cross. Do this is like, I tried to go and say, like, why don't we be a lot nicer to each other, just generally, and in the main, instead of being rapacious, horrible, money-grabbing dickheads. And then they nailed him to a bit of wood. And Jeremy Corbyn must be thinking, yeah, they're going to blame this on me, and I am just a dude that just said, let's bring in some fairly socially responsible policies that mean we don't help burning the planet to a crisp.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, all right, rock on.
Oh, this is rocket surgery over here, trying to get this figured out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
don't screw everyone over.
those people in power look at people like us with like a deep fear and hatred, thinking that we're just the poor. But some of us are really not going to get killed by their shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. Too angry and too stubborn to die.
The people that are the angriest with the incompetence of government are literally the people that are, are most capable of surviving all the shit they're going to pull.
We're the ones that are the cockroaches.
We're
the ones that are up in some little cave somewhere.
Yeah, and it's just like, you have, because of you've been dicking around for so long, you have created almost like a small percentage of the population that are kind of like stainless steel rats who like know how to survive. Like like I've got every admiration for people that live in the Appalachian area, because it's hard fucking Scrabble life.
Yeah, it's hard life.
And they're absolutely unkillable.
Yeah.
The whole the first people to sort of like set up trade unions in America, where it was vastly unpopular and couldn't be stamped out, and also the first people to actually win a battle against the British during the War of Independence. The people that freed your country have never fucking forgotten it. and will always have a rifle in their pickup truck, and will always look at you askance when you say, it would be nice if we had less guns. And we'll just go, oh, fuck no.
That's definitely the truth.
We've overthrown, we tell stories about how our ancestors overthrew a monarchy. We're not doing it again. And it's just like, oh yeah, good luck. I don't think you really want to send the National Guard into the Appalachians.
Virginia. Yeah. Virginia, yeah, you want to do that? Yeah, good luck.
I mean, because you really aren't going to get any National Guardsmen turn up that day if they're from the Appalachians. No. Yes, we're going into the Appalachians. I'll be deserting then, sir. Come and fucking find me. Well, I'll be the corn stalk chewing motherfucker in like five times better camo than you've got, armed to the teeth, looking down a hill at you. You will find out what it is like to be British in the 1770s. You're about to find out, because we will fucking cut you to ribbons. You won't even be able to spend special forces, because the special forces guys will just also desert.
Oh yeah,
because they're from there. You know, your Navy SEALs are from there. Your Delta Force are from there. You know, most of those guys are from mountain stock. The toughest of the fucking toughest, little wiry guys that can do everything. They're gone. Who are you going to send? There's nothing you can do against these people. You just have to draw a big ring around the Appalachians if you try and do any serious shit and take their guns away. And just say, yeah, no man's land. We're not fucking going in there. That's Vietnam in there. And the residents have just bought a shitload of black pyjamas. No way. There's no fucking way you're taking those people out. Yeah. So the Ranger stroke WOG mentality will always survive, because that's what we do. You know, we'll be the people leaving us, bugging in for 2 weeks, waiting for everything to calm down, then fucking off into the countryside. Just like, bye. Yeah, none of the shit I lived in civilization works anymore. I'm off. Yeah. Pig Monkey will be up a mountain somewhere. I don't envy anybody that's got to go find him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not necessarily because not because he'd shoot them. He would just lead them such a ragged dance over those fucking mountains that he loves so much. No way.
Oh, exactly.
He'll be like that Japanese soldier that didn't surrender till the 1970s. We need to find him. Why? How badly do you need this guy that you need to go in there to get him? Fuck him. He's perfectly okay. Just leave him there. If you've any sense. It'll be like that scene in Rambo. What I recommend is you put a hole in your cordon and just let him fuck off. And you'll pick him up in a drive-through car wash or some shit in Okanobe or somewhere. And he'll go without a fight because there'll be bystanders and shit. But you don't want to...
We'll be in radio contact with Pig Monkey. He'll be up there.
Yeah. This is Raven 1 calling. Just like, fuck no. No way. It's just like, all I wanted to do was climb mountains. People came and fucked with me, so I just buggered off into the mountains. Pig Monkey's thinking, this is like being Russia. Bye. 30 clicks into the mountains. Anybody with any sense would just go, fuck this, leave him there. Even the people that like him go, fuck him, he's gone. He's climbed up another 500 feet. We'll never find him again. We'll stay in radio contact or shit. But we're camping here. We're fucked.
This is fine. We'll set up a base camp.
Yeah. How do we find this guy? Well, you really don't. He's gone. But there's all sorts of people like that. The States is the very worst place to try and pull that shit. There's some fairly heavily armed states. I mean, California probably toe the line. But Texas, can you imagine really telling Texans that they got to give up their guns? No fucking way. I'd have to say, the US at least has that. If you tried to impose a dictatorship in the United States and you did something un-American, like somebody could say, look, this is actually a dictator here, and everybody were to go along with it, that person wouldn't last 10 seconds. There is a backbone of a concept of freedom. It will come out one day and it will surprise everybody. But America's one place where it would totally happen if it got too bad. Like, I'm hoping it was kind of like you have a coin to toss. One side, America, because now we've fucking blown it for at least 5 years. So the next chance for a really influential country to do very cool things is America.
I hope so.
On the world stage, America has this,
Pulled their heads out of their
yeah, another chance to like lead the world in everything.
Yeah.
They've got America has the technology, it has the manpower, it's got the willpower, it's got the workforce, it's got the access to the resources. Literally, you can fight an entire planet. It's like nobody, in their right mind is ever, apart from the, terrorist action where it's asymmetrical warfare, which, Christ, nobody can really predict how or where. Somebody's always going to be thinking one step ahead of you, and you'll always be chasing up. But with, a stand-up fight, no one.
Yeah.
America can literally just send one aircraft carrier and sort of say, job done. That's it.
Yeah, one carrier group, and literally nobody is able to fight off even one carrier group.
Yeah.
That's some of the biggest countries, and even that, like one carrier group is about as much as they can.
With the leg up in technology that America has,
Yeah.
and the machine that its armed forces is. I mean, who's to know? We probably don't even know what America would use against a sufficiently technological enemy until you fight that war. People didn't really know about the stealth fighter or the stealth bomber until the Gulf War.
Yeah.
It was literally rumours and mock-up model kits that were pretty close, but nobody had ever fucking seen one.
Yeah.
And then there they are, you got Apache gunships that, and, satellite, GPS comes of age. That's probably the biggest thing from the Gulf War. I mean, you can't say that warfare doesn't push progress. GPS came about in that war.
Oh, absolutely. No, warfare does totally push progress. But, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. It's just this, like...
You need to take that responsibility again.
Oh, guys, I'm...
so bad right now.
I'm not egotistical to want it to be, the United Kingdom leading a change in the world. But the next one is a bigger hope. If America sort of like, starts, just going, how do we make everything better? Not necessarily all at once, but provably in a progression. Even if it's just in America, to show how it can be done.
Unfortunately, greed and egotism gets in the way.
Yeah.
The problem that you guys are having over in the UK right now with all this election.
Oh, it's entirely it's like living in the mirror universe of what you're getting.
Yeah.
And just like literally, it's so close to what's happening. Like there's a playbook now, but it's a really good playbook. Who's to say that's what isn't what happened in Brazil?
Yeah, no joke.
Because the internet is even more important there. Because really poor people will still own a mobile phone that's capable of receiving tweets.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if they don't have a big television or don't spend a lot of time watching television. It's a different economic structure in the large sort of proportion of the population. The difference between rich and poor is even greater comparatively. And
Yeah, absolutely.
countries like that where if you know exactly what buttons to push and what sort of rumours to start and what sort of headlines to run in the mass media, you can literally tell people, how to do that is going to be the most expensive secret and expensive process known to man.
Yeah.
There'll be no limit as to what the companies that can do that can charge.
And you get people that are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to analyze societies and analyze the group folks and figuring out how to rile them up and spit them up and watch them go, all while they're playing right along with the media's playbook.
Yeah. So yeah, it's...
I do have to say, being American and having all this shit with the current administration especially coming in and seeing as much of a garbage fire as your country is, at least we're not alone. At least we
Yeah.
can share in our garbage.
But I don't know what the political situation is like in Uzbekistan or, you know, Turkmenistan or, you know, a certain province in China. You know, because my media bubble doesn't filter it into me. So is it going on like a lot more than we're aware of?
Probably is.
Because, you know,
Everything that's going on in China is just like China's almost like its own entire world. They have such a good rap on the media. Is they're trying to get anything out of mainland China is like, you know, the fact that we're getting all of this stuff about the Uyghur Maya, all of that stuff and the concentration camps being set up there is just kind of amazing that we're even getting that much out of them.
yeah, I mean, I've never been able to get rid of the naive streak in me that just wants to say to people, look, you could be, you know, heroes that are forever remembered by just doing the obvious things in order to fix the problems of the world.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to search for personal gain and insulate yourself from the people as far as you possibly can, wouldn't you want to be considered so heroic that you could just walk down the street without a bodyguard?
Yeah, no kidding. But that'd be,
You know, to be able to say to the world, yeah, okay, so there's a list and it's triage, so what we're concentrating all our efforts on is wiping out the top 10 killer diseases in the world. We're coordinating our efforts. And once we've done that, we've got some history of working together, so we sort of think, right, okay, let's have a symposium about why, in a world full of abundance of resources and things that are made and, you know, and pretty much anything, and we pretty much invent money, if we all got together and agreed, nobody would be really poor. Nobody on earth would be really destitute. We can make it impossible.
Yeah.
And then we change. We then change. Yeah.
That are poor, it means that anybody that's not poor has something that they can feel good about themselves on. And
Yeah.
that's why being poor is something that's forced upon people. Is that they don't the powers that be do not want people to not become poor. They want people to stay poor because then the people that are more in the middle, or you know, even slightly less poor, can look down on the people that are, you know, super poor. There's always, I can always feel better about myself. You know, there's no baseline. The baseline is death. You know, the baseline is being smashed into a tiny little ball by the powers that be, by starving to death in a frickin' car on the side of the road because you forced out of your apartment because you had an injury at work or whatever. You know, that's, as soon as you don't have value, boom, you're done. You're not into that. A waste on society.
But it is a complete waste of the most precious resource that we have. You know, human brain power. You know, if there was anything that was going to make our lives really, really good, you know, how do you know where the next stroke of human brilliance is going to come from? You don't.
Yeah.
You know, very rarely does somebody that comes up with something really amazing come from a wealthy background.
Yeah.
You know, at best they're middle class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at best, you know, the next multi-billionaire is going to be middle class. It's not going to be the upper class wealthy who've inherited their wealth, because as Donald Trump proves, you know, those eventually the dynasty fails downwards. You know, whereas people that have got something to prove or, you know, have got a drive. Elon Musk's family weren't that rich.
Yeah.
So he's got a drive to be super successful. And it's like, look, along with that super success comes some very useful shit. You know, yes, Elon Musk might occasionally say some dickish things, but he is just a dude. But he's a very bright dude that can spot how things can go together.
Yeah.
You know, he's very good at yeah.
Pretty big dickhead.
But like Steve Jobs, you know, he's capable of assembling a team of people that can do the thing he said he thinks can be done.
Yeah.
You know, you look at SpaceX. SpaceX has got the contract with NASA. You know, NASA are just glad that they're not having to pay the Russians to lift people into orbit.
Yeah.
You know, now they can pay an American. And he's literally got the future of the space industry in his hands at this point. As Jeff Bezos is coming in pretty good for cargo deliveries for the moon. That's what they're working on now. Like, there really will be a moon base, hopefully within my lifetime. You know, that's a progress of a sort. It just,
In our lifetime.
I just think we could get there a lot quicker. If we could just go, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit in the world, and then all us people can stand down a little bit and just go, right, okay, Star Trek has arrived. You know, I can be educated in anything I'm interested in, which will mean I'll be good at it.
Yeah.
You know, so if I want to go into green tech, I'll be good at it, and therefore my government will see that, and I will be able to study for it and be an engineer. You know, because as soon as somebody could point me in the direction of, like, here's some shit you can do to make the world better as a job, that's like, Christ, yeah. You know, put me to work on a solar farm.
Yeah.
There can't be that much technology involved. I mean, it can only be a manual to make sure that, you know, 14 acres of solar panels goes to the national grid, and I keep an eye on it and make sure it didn't go bang. There'll be a button for me to press to switch it off, yeah? You know, so, you know, it's not a huge responsibility, but I've just got to pay attention. Okay. Or I've got to repair it when it goes wrong. I take another unit out, I bolt it into place, and I plug in the right colour wires. That's literally it.
Yeah, I wish that, you know, that's why I do what I do, is because, you know, I have this duty to the rest of humanity to, you know, try and at least do something that helps a little bit, just so I'm, you know, at the end of the day, I can look at myself and go, you know, I think I've done more good than I have bad, and I have at least a global net profit in my life, and I'm not just, you know, wasteless, that I haven't had any impact into it. I try and at least help people at least a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people have misconceptions about, you know, stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, I think I can look at myself and go, yeah, I think I've done more good than bad. But you know, most people don't care enough. All they want is, you know, an iPhone and a, you know, nice new car and, you know, whatever Mac, PS, you know, $50,000 computer garbage. You know, that's all they want. They just, you know, the only way to do that is just to, you know, sacrifice yourself up to the corporate power structure, and off you go. But you know, even if it's not necessarily a job that you do, but it's something that you do. Even if, you know, whatever your job is, as long as you're doing somewhere that's trying to help people, and trying to create a global net profit. I wish that more people would do that, and the world would be a little bit of a better place.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I think that's what comes of most of the stress. That's, you know, I get why people in America own guns.
Yeah.
Because you just be like, oh no, there's a line. You know, and every year I see you walking closer towards that line. You know, I see the people, you know, the vast majority of people just want to encroach on that space that you're just saying, look, seriously, you know, I'm not asking for a great deal. You just have to, like, not come inside that bubble.
Yeah.
And there are people that can look outside the bubble and go, shit, they're getting close. Yeah. Yeah, you need to not do that. And I think that's where, although you get tragedies and guns are easily available and that comes with its own problems, but I think an awful lot of these school shootings are literally people just going bang with looking at it and just going, wow, the world is a messed up place.
And it's misguided anger.
Yeah, just, you know, just...
people in there, and, you know, they take it out in a way that's totally unhelpful, unhealthy, and doesn't create any type of net good.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like if you having the goal to create a net good isn't something that is, you know, encouraged in society. All that's encouraged is starting a family and getting money. Like,
Yeah.
those are the only things that are encouraged in society.
Yeah, breed more workers. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, really?
You know, and there's no
I lost you a little bit there.
like global being selfless. You
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. Shall we try and resume this call? We'll both leave the call and you call back, and I'll pick it up.
Yeah. You know what? Why don't I see if there's anybody else that wants to come in here? I gotta go.
Run
I gotta
away!
take care of some stuff here, so
Okay.
I will. I'll be popping in and out. I might pop back in later.
Yeah, man. I'll still probably be drinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm right there with you. I still have a glass of whiskey here, so.
Okay. Take care, man.
All right. All right.
Okay, so unless you want to listen to me blurring on about it, let's go check with the election. So the results that are in are 4 seats for Labour and 1 seat for the Conservatives. But it did this to me last time, so yeah. So if anybody's out there within the reach of my voice, let's have a look. Live stream is probably down to 0. 6 watching, or 7 if Tilda's still up. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm truly astonished. So yes, yeah. So if you are available to contact the Discord, you can click on the phone icon to call in. This is so silly. Got a 8 person call in. But yeah, whoever dials the phone first will think. I think I've got a while in me yet, even though it's gone midnight. Yeah. Oh, it's mental. But it really is interesting, you know, all the people that have most of the people that have come together into this community on the Discord and, you know, watching the videos and stuff like that are all people that just look at it and go, wow, it could be so much better. But since it's not that much better, I better learn how to do some things. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Whew. Crushing Tory victory. That does not bode well for next year. You know. And believe me, I think, you know, everywhere could use free medical care. But that's about to die in the UK. Make sure it doesn't happen elsewhere. Holy shit. Yeah. The second Pacific Gods is right. That's a good percentage. So 25% of you have called in, which is hilarious. So yeah, that's probably a better rating than any talk show in history. So now there's only 6 people watching. People ran, and I can't tell which 6 it is. But yeah. So yeah, we shall see. I bet there'll be a whole bunch more people looking at bushcraft videos and, you know, looking at general, you know, intellectual survival stuff. I hate to say it, but this can only be good for the culture video project I want to do in the coming year that I'll be shooting some stuff for. And see if we can get that off the ground, where it's a community producing videos on, right, okay, here's some sensible shit. Here's some media to watch that will make you feel a little bit better. Here's some people to talk to that don't think you're crazy when you look at it and go, oh, that's a bit too far. So yeah, everybody stock up on vitamins and try not to get ill. Hey! We are globe-trotting this evening. So we've had 1 call from America, 1 call from the UK, and hopefully a call from Australia. That would be cool. So we'll wait for Kim to sort his stuff out. So that'll be good. Yeah, this will be the most globe-trotting, because everybody else that's doing a reaction to the election, apart from a few things. Let's pick that up. I need that. Takes about 5 seconds to contact Australia. Yeah, man. So we got Harlequin in Australia. We've got to be beating records on election coverage.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I am just disgusted.
So every. Oh man, it's worse than you can ever believe.
It's not worse than I could ever believe, because, like, you know, it was always going to be a hard step.
Yeah, I thought they'd win.
Into Parliament, getting Jeremy Corbyn into Parliament was like, that is, you know, that's unheard of, because he's, you know, he's an out-and-out socialist, and people in this day and age cannot get past the fact that that word is not evil. You know, that's what does my head in.
I was daydreaming about my fully automated gay space communism. It was like, yeah, please.
Could have had it. Yay! Where's your Star Trek? Oh no, it's just more fucking, like, you know, more bozos from Oxford, bloody, you know.
Oh,
Universe.
it's amazing. And hello to GCHQ, who will no doubt be listening to this. Hello, Tilda.
She can't hear you. You can only hear her. But
Yeah.
It's just a very random day in the world of politics. I don't understand the whys and the wherefores of
Oh,
what's going on, why it's happening.
I cannot believe it. It
You
is.
know, I mean, like literally, you know, that country is now elected someone that is, you know, probably, like, you know, 100 points of IQ cleverer than Donald Trump, and will probably do a million more shitty things than Donald Trump could even imagine doing, you know, overnight. You know, like,
It looks so positive right now. At the moment, it's 4 Labour seats to 1 Tory seat declared.
yeah, but the problem is you're talking about constituencies that are, or, like, you know, they're calling them, they're able to call them because, you know, they started counting places like Durham and Newcastle where the calling will be, you know, 90% return to Labour, and it's easy enough to gauge from that. But there's like, you know, X number of seats that have to come back as returning seats, or the, you know, the seats that have to change over. I don't think the polling is right. I don't think it will come out to be what the polling is.
Oh, and you know what? The turnout.
What did they work? The FT, you know, the Financial Times turned around and said to the bankers, you know, if you want to trust the news sources, you trust the ones that the bankers trust. And they turned around and said, do not, you know, short sell, do not short buy on the results out of polls, because historically, for the last 10 years, they have not worked. We have not seen, you know, those polls come back, you know, with what is actually going to happen. But,
Yeah.
you know, down 68 bloody seats, you know, they must be something close to being right, you know, even if it's not.
Yeah.
Right, you know.
Oh, you never know.
But yeah, you know. Well, you know, another 5 years of some, you know, bottom making, you know, screwing dollars in unpaid taxes and fucking over the rest of the universe.
Yeah, but it only makes what we do more important.
I
think at this point, I'm.
It also makes the response that's going to come about. You know, when it does change over, and we're going to have to fight to get it to change over. You know, when that change happens, it will be all the more victorious and all the more actually useful. You know, you look at someone like I can't think of the lady's name, Cortez in.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, you know, if you can get her, you know, maybe not this time round past Trump, you know, if you can get Trump kicked out or impeached and he's thrown out so he can't stand again, because, you know, he was caught out doing illegal shit, we know he was caught out, whether he gets away with it or not, you know, he still did illegal shit. You know, that's the end of that ball game, you know. And God hope you get bloody Boris Johnson, you know, locked up at the same time. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine last night.
Well, it's not even Boris Johnson so much. It's this.
But, you know, the party political, you know.
Yeah, the far right Conservative Party. The idea is really terrifying. You know, it's not just going to be bumbling incompetence for 5 years. It's going to be actual evil.
But he's not a bumbling incompetent.
No.
He's not a bumbling incompetent.
But
You know,
for some
he's
reason,
actually a very evil human being.
they must, before he ran for who was going to be leader of the Conservative Party, they must have done a poll to see who was most popular, and just gone, well, it doesn't matter what he is. I mean, he can be found out for all kinds of scandals and shit, and got stood down after the election, and we're free to do, you know, really subtle evil shit.
Whatever we want. Yeah.
You know, I would like to wake up. You know, it's a bit like that Babylon 5 episode. Nothing happened today.
Yeah.
You know, where she just goes, "Oh, nothing happened in Sector D76 today," and that's where they're going to fight their final battle, and everybody turns up to find out what's going on, and they're like, "Right, you're now a fleet. We're going to fight the shadows." You know, it's just like, fuck. You know, it's just like it's just going to be. That's what I'd like to wake up and there just be nothing to do a podcast about, to do any YouTube videos about, just to go, all right, okay, everything's fixed, brilliant, okay, I'll just go and wash some dishes. I'm good.
You're just doing nothing for nothing's sake. It's all okay.
Yeah, you know, humanity has sorted its shit out.
I don't get the failing of, you know, like, I mean, someone must be able to look it up. I can't, so I was on the phone, so I can't look up things on the computer at the same time as I'm on the phone. That's what the internet guy. But what is the population like? When, like, you know, what's that point where the baby boomers are all dead, right? And all the people who've lived through, you know, basically a decade of austerity.
Oh, it doesn't work like that.
Western world.
The people that are alive now and in old people's homes, they were around in the 60s.
Yeah.
They were protesting the Vietnam War. They were protesting nuclear power. They were basically saying, you know, we should all live in communes. That's them. They were listening to Black Sabbath and Crosby, Stills and Nash and the Beatles. Those are the people that are in, you know, in their 60s and 70s now.
Yeah.
And they're voting for Boris Johnson.
But how does that work?
Yeah, no, as time goes by, as you acquire, you know, a tiny sliver of wealth, it makes you
Therefore, you have to hold on to it.
less compatible.
So it really does go back to what the board says in the spectacle, where he starts talking about how any reaction to the spectacle is eventually corrupted by the spectacle. You know, like anytime that you do anything, eventually, you know, the outcome to that, you know, will basically become like, you know, you talked about, like, I was thinking about in terms of media production last night. I'm like, how do we not fall into that trap? How do we not fall into the trap of becoming part of the spectacle? How do we make it like so blandly informative that we can still give people the instruction or the usefulness or the message without it turning into being part of the spectacle, without it being a consumable item thing?
Yeah, I think we're seeing the political equivalent of a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing Transformers 10 right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. But it's like, how do you get enough money to survive in this economy, right? Without turning into being a complete dickhead. You know, for want of a better word. Like, how do you not become a capitalist by living in a capitalist world?
yeah,
You know,
there you go.
because seemingly, how do you do that thing there? Well, how do you stop others from the 99% from becoming that thing?
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet everybody here has resisted promotion.
Stop it.
At some point in their lives has just gone, no, that looks like a shitty job. I'll just do my job. But yeah, it's one of those things. In order to be wealthy, you have to have, you know, profited off the work of someone else.
Yeah, you have to literally destroy the lives of others. And
There's
make them your slaves.
There's
No
literally,
other work that
even if
you
you've
make other people slaves.
even if you just trade stocks and shares, you know, the value of a company has a real value, you know, has a real consequence over how many people it employs, you know, and how small the margins have to be, you know, to keep people at a subsistence level so that they can just about afford to come to work, let alone, you know, and exist. Yeah, you know, so there's no way you can avoid it. I mean, it's a bit like, you know, we're almost at this weird point. It's a bit like avoiding human suffering. You know, to the Buddha, you know, avoiding suffering in the universe. Well, you're eventually at least going to have to eat a carrot. And the carrot is alive and is aware of being a carrot, and suddenly it's not a carrot anymore. And what is your right to take away, you know, that carrot's awareness?
Yeah.
But, you know, it could be significantly better. You know, I'm not saying you can ever wipe out all human suffering, but we could have a stab at it instead of going,
We could have a bloody good go, couldn't we?
rather than just saying, fuck it, really. It's a bit like watching vegan activists talking to people about eating meat.
It's like pissing on your own boots.
Now-
sometimes, but, like, you know, not winning the stream.
Now, 1 in every 100 people go, yes, it would be nice if, you know, I would happily pay slightly more taxes if it meant that I didn't ever see a homeless person or worry about a starving child or worry about an abused person at all, ever again for the rest of my life. I'd happily pay another couple of % in tax so that I never have to worry about other people. And I think the real problem, the reason people like us become reactive and start going, right, okay, I need 2 weeks of water. I'm going to need the ability to survive in the fucking bush. Because I don't trust these motherfuckers. And the real problem I'm going to have is not whether I can go and survive, because I know I can, is how many people I try and save when I go and do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody in here, everybody that's watching this podcast, which has now dropped down to 3 people, but I'm going to carry on anyway, because it's interesting. But, you know, we're all people that go, oh, shit, and we're going to have to save some of those fuckers as well. That's where the headache comes in. Yeah. It's not whether I can get myself a gas mask. It's like, how long am I going to have that gas mask on when I see the first child that requires it? And I know I'm not really doing that kid a favour, but I will still put that gas mask on that kid, even if I only have one. That's where our stress comes from. Is that how much work is it going to be to look after as many people as possible who don't know how to do anything? They don't know how to grow crops, they don't know how to generate electricity, they don't know how to set up an infrastructure of any kind if any of this falls over. And every time we see a failure of politics, we just think, oh, that's some more shit that just fell over. Is that going to be the thing? Is a completely defunct NHS going to be the thing that tips it over to complete anarchy and a need to rebuild everything from scratch? You know, and is the UK the first country that's going to happen to? The first once wealthy country that's going to be absolutely annihilated because of greedy people? Are we going to pump literally a financial version of Airstrip 1?
Well, I mean, that's the problem is all these wealthy people will get in their helicopters and fly off to the next country, you know, I point you to New Zealand.
Yeah, but Mother Nature had a different idea about New Zealand this week. So I'm terribly sorry there was a volcanic eruption and a landslide and stuff like that. But
Hopefully the landslide and the eruption mean that they all get left alone in the future. Like,
that's my thought. I think real estate prices in New Zealand just dropped like a rock, and that can only be a good thing for the New Zealand people, because, you know, one of the things that sparked me to really becoming very down about the whole thing was the idea that if we don't fucking sort it out in the next 5 years, there's a very good chance that the Great Barrier Reef might die.
Yeah.
And we will have killed the biggest thing on the planet. It literally is the largest living thing. If you count it as a community organism, it's the biggest thing on the biggest living thing on the planet, and there's a very good chance we're going to kill it.
Yeah.
And you just think, if that isn't a sign to completely change the way we do things, you know, guys, look, you can see this fucking thing from space.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's the big inverted U north of Australia that you can see from the ISS. Like, you can literally, with the technology we have, tune into the YouTube channel from the ISS at NASA, which is amazingly clear. It's in fucking HD, and you can wait for about 17 minutes. And the Great Barrier Reef will go by, even if it's just gone by when you click onto it. That's the longest you'll have to wait to see the biggest living thing on Earth.
Yeah.
And we're about to kill it.
While you're sitting there for the 17, and while you're sitting there for the 17 minutes, you can pass over all the other exciting and interesting things.
That just ain't going to fucking be there once the thing that is going to happen that we can't stop, the Greenland ice shelf melting, which we can't even stop. That's doing it now. Because the moment you put water next to ice, it melts the ice, and you get like a formation chain reaction, and that's what's happening in Greenland right now. They reckon that all the Arctic bases in Greenland that they've got, all the listening posts, are going to fall over because they're only anchored in permafrost,
Yeah, so they'll disappear.
which will be gone.
They'll just, like, because they're not there.
Yeah, because they'll be in mud in 5 years' time, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
So not only have we got to think the world could be better as it is now, there are several dramatic improvements we could make to how much we're damaging it. Regardless of that, water levels will be 20 feet higher.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does that? What that Bangladesh and the whole of Delhi and all those places in India.
Yeah.
But it also wipes out places like Melbourne and Sydney, Australia. Melbourne is good. And you can't. Is that not London disappeared? It's the lock breaks.
Yeah.
I know it's got a lock at the end of the sentence, but basically if that lock doesn't hold out or can't be rebuilt at the right height, that's basically a loss of London.
Well, that's also bye-bye to a lot of lowland Europe.
Yeah. They go Holland and the whole of the
Yeah.
The lowlands.
That's some parts of America, that's large parts of Brazil. That's a lot of the world where there will be refugees from your country coming to where you are if you live high enough up.
No, I'm on this bit. No, I'm talking about why this bit. Yes, because I've cheated. Even though I didn't. I've been told off. I've been called out as a scab by a 7-year-old, Jack.
And that's as it should be.
Call you a scab.
You should be proud.
Jack,
You should be proud to be called... Yeah.
Jack is impressed with you.
I am. Deeply impressed.
Doesn't mean you're allowed to go on YouTube. Or I'll block the bloody network address tables in the it's not even called that. I'll block the bloody thing in the router.
Yeah. Child, you will learn internet networking. Otherwise, you shall never look at a YouTube video again.
Yeah. I have thought about doing that. I blocked many things over the years. I thought of blocking many other things. And I figured that I always wanted...
But
that's the thing.
that's a weird thing. I could certainly do it on my router. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that weird thing that there's a science thing there, like I don't know, it wasn't Freud, but someone similar, gave like two orphan children to someone who was unable to speak and had them like raised or whatever in this community of people who couldn't speak, and they came up with their own language, their own spoken language. They literally invented their own spoken language, right? And then they were able to like learn English very very quickly because they could both actually hear and speak, right? So it was this thing done back in like the early 19th century.
Well, it would have to be. That's a pretty inhumane thing to do.
It is, yes, exactly. But I wonder if the same thing should not be true of children with technology. I've often thought about this, right? Because when I was a kid, technology was this weird thing where it was like a dumb terminal and you had to like learn how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like you literally had to like learn how to do this and work and like, oh, you have this thing called a cursor and you have to like work where the help pages are and stuff happens. And I wonder if you refuse to give kids any access to technology until they have literally like taken like Debian or whatever from a console level, and maybe you gave them an installed version of Raspberry Pi, and then said, right, you can have access to whatever you can find on the internet. You can have access to everything you want, but you have to do it yourself.
Yes.
And you literally set up like the kids in India were given access to all those medical journals and all the biochemistry research and stuff in English via this like dumb terminal in the slums in India. And they all taught themselves English and started talking about new things that happen in science.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me at all. It sounds like my childhood. Here is a ZX81, or in American speak, a Timex 1000. This is the crappiest computer in the universe. In order to make it to do anything interesting, you will have to learn to program. And you look at it and you go, oh, bollocks. Because I'd seen 2001 and Star Trek. To me, computers were things you just fucking spoke to. And just went, computer, we're going to need some really clever thinking and to work out how to do this, this and this. That would be great.
Yeah.
And I'm presented with a slab of plastic the size of a paperback book. With a membrane keyboard that occasionally, and I stress the word occasionally, will save the program you spent 10 hours writing to an audio cassette tape. If you've set the volume right and nobody walks through the room and swears while you're doing it. Like, if you wrote a program on that fucking thing, you saved it 5 or 6 times, thinking that one of them's got to stick. And even then, when you rebooted the computer to load your saved program, you were like, fingers crossed. That's like 10 hours of work. And I've made a thing move across a screen. and then I've made it go backwards when I pressed a certain button, and you know, all this crazy like long programs when you got to into actually animating sprites, and it was just like, this is going to take forever. And then the evolution to the, you know, the 16-bit systems of the Amiga, which was sort of okay, but you couldn't really do anything interesting or useful with it. And now you get people complaining about laptops which are running, you know, Linux and have got access to worldwide communications, and we're running our own TV program right now. I mean, we are channel 13. There are 4 people watching. You know, if you've ever seen Max Headroom, that's what they had in Max Headroom, which was a science fiction movie. You know, they had 1 person watching, and they were still broadcasting from a combi van. You know, Max Headroom. Yeah, 10 minutes into the future. And Max Headroom was one of the things that inspired Sean Kennedy, that kicked off the whole thing, coming back to what we're doing now. With 5 people watching the live stream. You know, we have achieved television. Unfortunately, we can only convince intelligent people to come watch it. So that's our big drawback.
Then they just, like, you know, go back to being asked about things, you know. Oh, I couldn't give up doing this because there's blah blah blah. What about the animals? Oh, well, I don't care about that. You know, I can do that. Oh, it doesn't make any difference. You know, it's just it's a negative response to things you're going to give the truth.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It's worth the price of admission.
You know, you could pay an extra 2% tax, and that would mean that we would end suffering in the UK overnight for like 4 million children. Everyone would have access to social housing, everyone would have access to this, da da da. You know, it would cost us buggering nothing, and the whole bloody market economy is, you know, just complete bullshit anyway. We all know it. It's been proven, you know, it was proven nearly 100 years ago that, you know, as soon as we went on to, you know, off the gold standard, that it meant nothing anyway, and it was all just pretend. You know, magically overnight, it was just pretend money.
Yeah.
And you point this out to people, and they go, oh, but what about why? It's just like, that doesn't, if you've got money in the bank, that makes no difference. That's literally like, it doesn't do anything. It's like, if you've got money that's money, that doesn't do anything for you. Even if you have money that's gold or silver.
Yeah, in a skills or a resource based economy, it's still worthless. Yeah.
It's worthless. You know, you're better off buying a bloody you know, an X230, putting it in a bloody, you know, in a bloody Faraday cage with a solar panel and a bunch of charge software and a bunch of charging hardware, and saying, you know, I've got a copy of Wikipedia, and we can look up anything you want to and have a solution.
Yeah.
You know, I have my Project Morlock library. You know.
This is rather legitimising Project Morlock. So it is almost sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, even, yeah.
It does make you wonder if it is a god, doesn't it?
The only problem is like, you know, I know that all the people watching and taking part in this live stream and anything that we've ever done is such a small demographic. You know, and I know that they're all sorted. I don't have to tell them to sort of like keep a couple of weeks worth of water sitting around. I don't have to tell them to have a couple of weeks worth of food, or to be able to, you know, look after themselves in the woods. They already know. You know, they're, you know.
How do you do that for a larger percentage of the population without it becoming expensive?
You know, in fact, the majority of people that watch my stuff are better prepared than me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's.
That's interesting. Like, how do you get more people involved without it becoming, you know? I look at the guy from Primitive Technology, right? And like, you know, I watch it because I think it's interesting, and I, you know, watch it with children or whatever. But we have a real difficulty in, you know, in how do you not turn that stuff into being, you know, either a clone of the channel or something else, you know. because you don't. How do you have some kind of like educational television in this day and age where every piece of social media is just skeptical, where every single television show is just skeptical, where 5 million marks from Black Mirror is literally what 99.9% of the population's viewing habits on TV are.
Yeah.
How is that not? How do you move past that into the next sphere?
Yeah.
How do you influence the population to stage a revolt which they obviously require? When you can't even get them to vote for the fact of not being good for another.
Yeah, they've just got this vote that was so clear cut. Shall I tell you something even more depressing? Less people turned out for this general election than turned out to the last one.
You've got to be joking.
Yeah, it's down 2-point-something%. Give me a second, it will cycle round.
So many more people register. Mind you, I did see.
Yeah.
Enough, I saw a bunch of things this morning, my time, so like early evening your time, talking about how votes in Liverpool weren't being counted because they'd handed out the wrong ballot papers. How a bunch of students who all turned out to register in Cardiff, right, hadn't filled out or hadn't had their voting registration form accepted because it was incorrect.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's 2.3% is the exact figure. 2.5%. It's going up. The percentage of people that didn't vote that were eligible to vote. So it's looking like nearly 40% of people who could have voted didn't.
That's just insane. But that's the problem is that the Tory government relies on people not voting.
Oh, wow. That's really just hit me, along with a lot of the booze. So, yeah. Oh, man.
But
You know,
I don't get how you
when you sort of walk around the world thinking people are fucking stupid. Sorry, Tilda.
Yeah.
But, it's warranted. Sometimes, maybe you should hold off on swearing until you're a bit older.
You can't
But,
hear you.
oh, that's a mercy. But yeah, wow. That's amazing.
No. No way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and just to catch up with the chat, Iron Angel said he knows the pain of handwriting programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's one of those tough editing you actually feel doing something else new. But mind you, I was sort of programming short-term, so don't actually use it.
Okay, so we're on to my mum's whiskey. Yeah, I don't want to. It's wrong to waste Highgrove cask whiskey on morning, on Boris Johnson being my Prime Minister, so I've switched to Jack.
Point your headphones into it.
But I think if
It's a white lightning kind of night, isn't it?
yeah. So and I think my mum would think I was truly justified.
Yeah.
Although it has to be said, my mum read the Daily Mail, so
Mind you, my mum will be bloody livid, because she's always bloody.
yeah. I think my mum would have looked at it and gone, well, this means so much to so many people. I have to vote for Labour.
Yeah.
I think I would have at least been able to get to her and say, look, please do not believe this clown. I'm begging you, don't vote Conservative.
Yeah.
And I think I could have convinced her, just like, no, you've got to let it go. Please, just don't ever do this. And and I'm lucky because I know my best friend didn't vote Tory, and I'm lucky that I'm reasonably sure that some of my blood relatives will not have voted Tory. I think my blood relatives would have probably voted Labour, so I feel quite lucky in that. Because I think things are going to go south pretty quick for people that are right on the edge.
Yeah. I just to sound like, so I'm watching the polling coming. Like Valley, you see somewhere in Wales, I believe, or something within the hills in the hills of Bondi.
Yeah.
Like Valley returns Conservative for the first time from Labour. It's like,
Yeah.
how do they not remember the miners strike? Do they not remember the?
Well, also those remote bits of Wales also got shed loads of EU funding.
Yeah.
You know, to literally put jobs back in areas, which is what they were told to do. So there's somebody in the chat called KCBNAC, Kabinak. American whiskey to protest the UK decision. Sounds fitting. Well, yeah.
Sorry, I've finally got that. I don't think I can turn up my sound on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So welcome to our. So we've got six. We've gone down to 3 and we've gone back up to 6, which is really interesting.
It won't count them. It won't count them correctly for you, so it doesn't actually show you what's going on. Okay.
It doesn't matter. We broadcast the first Rangers podcast to no one. You know, it was for anybody that felt like nobody fucking understood who they were in anywhere USA or anywhere UK. And it is pretty amazing how many people have sort of like gelled around and stayed around the concept of that.
Yeah. I like Steph Gum's response.
Oh, right.
Playing to escape either Canada or New Zealand used to like Australia, but they have a batshit crazy government as well. And
Yeah.
it's true, we do. We have one of the worst, one of the worst liberal, as we call it over here, that's the Tories,
Yeah.
conservative governments in history. Our Prime Minister stood up in the last week over here and refused to acknowledge the fact that climate change had anything to do with bushfires, which are currently ravaging the country.
No, nothing at all.
No, nothing at all.
And Colaris is from the Rant Radio Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was worth posting that link, and somebody came in to enjoy this. And I have already promised Misanthropic Gods I'm in if anybody in America wants to do a US election late night whiskey drinking session. It's like, yeah.
So much fun.
Oh, we'll totally be there for
I
you.
wonder what the outcome for that's going to be. That doesn't stand me. Something's got to change eventually.
Well,
Bring it over when it's done. They find this thing.
I know taxation is an issue for Americans, and I know gun control is an issue for Americans, and I'm more than willing to admit that if I lived in America, I'd own a gun. Absolutely, in 10 seconds flat. The second I could, even if I moved over there, not just grown up over there, but if I moved over there, the moment I was eligible to get a gun license, I would. You know, and if I was allowed to own a shotgun from day one of being an American citizen, I would. Because there are people with guns there. You know, it would just be a case of, right, okay, it's just me, so, you know, I will not leave around in the chamber, but I will leave, you know, I will make sure that there are shells in a very close proximity to my shotgun. Because it's a crazy place. Definitely. And also, I think if the populace is armed, then Americans have, like, an amazing advantage over the UK in that there is only so far you can push Americans, and I was talking to Misanthropic Gods about that. You know, I totally get it. Yeah, but also you just fucking can't oppress a people. I mean, can you imagine the National Guard? Yeah, can you imagine the National Guard trying to roll into Texas or New Mexico or Nevada unopposed? It just wouldn't fucking happen, and they know it. So there is a limit to what you know. This election result has really brought it home to me. You just think there is a limit to what you can do to a country of people that are armed.
Yeah. No, and that is, for all I think that there is a mistake in a way in which there you go.
But can you imagine? You sort of like, yeah, there's an issue with immigration in America, but you imagine if, you know, our people were sitting at border control and you walked up and it was like a ranger or a rant person sitting behind the desk going, have you got a firearm? And you'd be like, no, I plan to get one as soon as possible though. And it's like, you're in.
You may come in.
Yeah, in you come. You're our kind of people. I want to live up the road from Doug Stanhope. You know, in that weird bit in New Mexico where he lives. He's just got a house out there, and that's where he lives, in nowhere New Mexico. And he goes and talks to people at local hustings and shit like that. You know, he's just part of his community, and they don't think he's anything special. But he is just like, no, you know, there is something amazingly beautiful, and it's why I don't think Australia has one, about a country with a constitution.
We do have a constitution, but no one knows what it is.
Yeah, we don't have a constitution.
Yeah, it has no bearing because of the way in which the government performs. The constitution does exist, but it's useless and meaningless as a piece of documentary.
So
Legal advice.
if there's any way I had to persuade an American border control guard to let me into America, and it's got like, okay, well, you're English, yes, but you're kind of on board with the whole idea of freedom and gun ownership. Yeah, I totally am. In your case, yeah. And it's almost, I would rather live in America with its elevated violence, but it's like absolute minimum standard, where there is a line you may not cross with the American people, than currently live in the UK where I've got Boris Johnson as a Prime Minister who currently has a license to do fucking anything. You know, there's a red line in America. You can't call out the troops against the American people because the troops would never stand for it. It just and not just the troops. You wouldn't get the Joint Chiefs to stand for it.
No, yeah.
I mean, how many American military officers would you have to go through to get to someone that would say, yes, we're going to roll in the National Guard into the Appalachians?
Yeah.
Nearly all of them. You'd be down to a buck sergeant that had had a head injury before you got somebody that could be chief of staff that had let it go through. So that there's an absolute bare minimum, which in the UK we no longer have. So yeah. You know, it's just like you look at the Constitution. If you've ever read the Constitution and it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, then you haven't read it right. And the Declaration of Independence. You know, so the only thing I would have to offer it would be like, okay, I'm from the country that sent you Thomas Paine, who pretty much wrote that. Wrote the very basic level that an American citizen will know for an absolute sure thing. It's like one day they'll go too far, and it is written in the Constitution that you're expected to start a revolution. You know, pretty much from the get-go.
The first place to be a sellout is Swindon North.
And I know what Christopher Hitchens meant by the fact that he, you know, when he was alive, that he admired America for that. You know, you just think, yeah, you've got a thing which you may not fucking cross, which we don't have in the UK, that you may well have in Australia. It's just like, up until now, there was a little bit of an assumption of fair play.
Yeah.
And now, and
I might before White Valley is actually just north of Durham, or just north of Newcastle.
yeah,
It's literally the next side up from Tyneside. You go Newcastle, and then Blyth, which is even more ridiculous considering it's
Yeah.
far north. You think to yourself,
it's doing to me what it did last time. Apparently, Labour have won 8 seats and the Tories have won 2, but
yeah,
they did this to me last time. It looked like it was a real goer right up until about 4 a.m, and then it was like, no.
and then all of a sudden it's like, no. And the problem is that and if you go look down on the page on BBC's website, it's voting share changed since 2017. The Brexit Party have pulled in. I know they've only just been said, they've pulled in plus 7.2% of the popular vote, right? Which has cut out 3.3% from UKIP. But it also probably taken some out of Conservative and Liberal Democrats, because the Liberal Democrats have lost a hell of a lot of support concerning their stance on the Brexit thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, they've literally lost their party's footing because, you know, everyone thought they were an independent, you know, party, you know, etc.
Yeah.
And all of those whatever faces you turn around and done is proving the fact that, you know, there's nothing.
Oh, it's absolutely astonishing. Just to see it happen, it really is. And some of the poorest people in the country will have voted Conservative.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, they were.
And I come back to my point again.
Yeah.
Then, that, you know, how in God's name do we turn around and fix this if we can't do it via parliamentary democracy? Like, how in God's name do you do something that changes the circumstances if people will continue to vote for the clown that has no clue?
Yeah.
You know, how do you change anything in society the way we live? Unless
Oh.
you fundamentally change those things.
I bet Boris has already had the chat that says, if this Russia thing comes out, you're gone, mate.
Yeah.
If you know, if it's proved that you've committed fraud, you probably are, you know, you're not going to be prime minister.
Yeah.
But you know, because although, you know, really, is it going to stop him? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You know, is it? It might not. You know, Trump might get through this whole impeachment thing. You know, they've got some very smart. You know, you have to hand it to them. They got some extremely smart people handling things. You know, running this for them. It's like Trump must have had an amazing team. You know.
Oh yeah, there's literally fly around the world to solve this problem for whoever pays the most.
To be honest, Trump just had to be like 10% less of a dickhead. You know, all he had to do was go, okay, we need to leave Americans that own guns with their guns, and we need to not tax them anymore. But he couldn't even do that. He had to fuck up their tax returns last year.
Yeah.
So loads of people lost, you know, working class people lost thousands of dollars.
And destroy the only one thing that Obama actually did that was actually any use, considering he kept going into war, settling
Yeah.
everyone else, and bombed the shit out of more people than anyone else in the history of the US government. Let's not, Barack Obama was a horrible person. He did horrible things in Parliament, and was just as evil as everyone else has been in the US Parliament. I don't even think it was even halfway to being nice. We were trying to instigate nationalised health services.
Yeah.
And if Trump had just gone, we'll just leave that alone, and we'll just work with it how it is topping.
I'd totally be a shoe-in for next year, but I've got a horrible suspicion that the fact that there is a level of suspense is actually being manufactured. It's sort of like, well, no, let's not, make it a shoe-in. Let's put the country on tenterhooks, and then the super rich can make money, speculating on whether the currency is going to take a nosedive. They're probably, the fact that the pound has just gone so starkly up.
Oh yeah, it was obviously a short buy. You saw that change in like half a bloody term. Inside of half an hour. It was obviously a short game to play via all the analytical in bank. Obviously.
Do you know what the dollar sits at right now?
Go on, mate.
Okay, so this is true as of 20 minutes ago via Google. I've just Googled the pound versus the dollar. The pound is now $1.35.
Yeah.
So when I was talking to Graffin and he said it's actually leapt to $1.25. It's continuing to soar.
It's all, yeah.
Though to be honest, it's average. It did drop remarkably just prior to the election. It did a sudden spike downwards. But it has, it's increased by 5 cents in the last week, which is a lot. And it's now €1.20.
Yeah.
And to the Australian dollar, it's 1.94. So
It hasn't been that high.
So those are percentage shifts of to the euro it's nearly 1.8%, to the dollar it's 2.1%, and to the Australian dollar it's up 1.12%. So anyone that has significant millions invested in the pound has suddenly made 2% in the last couple of days. I mean, even... Who's this? This is the Bank of England, who are normally extremely conservative. Say the pound sterling is embarking on a sizable rally.
Yeah.
And it's actually back to the level before the referendum. So if you were playing the long game, today it's dropped 11% on what it currently is.
Yeah.
Imagine knowing what was going to happen because you've got control of the media. Yeah. And you're pretty sure. Yeah.
8% rise in $1 million. Make that not pay.
I mean, some of those constituencies were less than 100 votes. Either way. at the start of today, and some people have made 11% on their personal fortunes. Now, if you're a billionaire, that's
We just made some money.
£100 million per billion.
So our first place to go on with it is Blythe Valley.
Now,
I'm in Blythe Valley up there.
yeah,
And the next rock is Swindon, which I just discounting.
yeah.
You know.
And Avagdu said we're still trying to how to figure out how to get the Limeys visas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start a company just called WOG Incorporated, and and you really can't do without the guy that makes all your media. And I'll pack up all my shit and I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to turn up with a knife, an axe and a saw and a radio and a laptop, and I'm good. Yeah, I'll need a cabin in the woods. Just like move me into the nearest hillbilly town. You a Christian? No. But I've got this here shotgun. Okay, you're in.
Weirdly enough, I've got my new, like one of the few things that can bug me on my phone is the one of the Australian, it's like the Construction Forestry Miners Education Workers Union in Australia, and they're one of the few people who can actually send me mail,
Yeah.
so it goes to my phone. And they've just sent me a report saying Johnson eyes phenomenal victory as voters with a shock landslide, and that was reported at 12 o'clock here,
Yeah.
so it must be what, 1 o'clock there? 10, 11 o'clock back in.
Yeah, it'd be 11 a.m. there. It's
No,
just gone.
probably-
Yeah, it's just gone 1 o'clock here. But we've got British winter time to account for. So yeah, so it's not we all night.
Conference told party members to celebrate after exit poll forecasting on course to win after phenomenal victory. I hope to enjoy the celebration tonight, he said in an email to party members after Thursday's vote.
Yeah.
Now this campaign, we could not have done it without you. Well, we could have done it without every single human able to do it, and a bunch of paper allies did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does make you wonder because Burkow's in Sky headquarters doing the results for Sky, and I wonder, like, you know, in his heart, what the hell he actually thinks of it, because it does mean that a no deal Brexit is on the table again.
Yeah.
You know, they'll basically just, you know, they'll just push it whatever the hell they can get done. You know, because now they've got, if they get a majority, they'll push through Brexit with no deal before January, and that'll mean that the tax legislation won't come through.
Yeah.
You know, and so the result of going to a court case, whatever else, it won't make any difference. You know, they won't be instigated no matter how much money is spent in Scotland or anywhere else to go and stop a no deal Brexit from happening. Yeah, they'll just push it through. You know, and live with the consequences, even if it means that, you know, Boris is thrown under the bus, and someone else gets put back in the party and got to go back to a bloody election, you know, first thing within 6 months. You know, as soon as they've got that legislation through, it says they will not have to pay, the companies won't have to pay fair taxes in the country where they are, you know, based, and the EU and all of its little, like, satellite islands can get away from it. You know, they've won the argument. That was the whole thing was based on. Every single thing was based on. Was just on that idea that they didn't want companies to have to pay what they actually earned their profits on. Which is just stupid. The likes of Amazon don't have to pay any amount of tax.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that New York rejected Amazon's bid when they started to really take the piss, and they said, "Oh right."
No, but they only did it. They only did it because people stood up and bloody demonstrated. You know, it's like,
Yeah, and Amazon are putting their HQ in New York anyway. You know, it was brinksmanship of the worst order, that deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
So it didn't make total real difference. You know, and it's easy to get around. It's just, you know, if every single person you know, uses Amazon, just turn around and say, don't buy stuff to them.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's cheaper. But it's not. You can find exactly the same deals from, you know, any other numbers of bloody, you know, systems. You know, to go and solve the same problem. You know.
Yeah.
You know, for God's sake, for the start point, the only thing you go on Amazon for is bloody looking up books to start with, because the rest of the shit they sell is just crap. paying. You know, and if you can't find a second-hand copy of a book, go and download the goddamn thing, or ask someone with library access to go and bloody get your copy of it. Go to the library.
I have bought books from companies via Amazon rather than from Amazon,
Yeah.
because it's the only way to easily find the company that was selling the book I wanted.
Yeah.
And I have given away 3 copies of Amanda Palmer's The Art of Asking to creative people, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
That was
Or asking for something that really failed.
that was my unrelated Kwanzaa present to someone that is not in the chat. Yeah. Yeah.
I think everyone's learned from me this year. So far, I haven't had any conversations about Christmas. I have not had a single conversation about Christmas since we come out of Christmas.
I just prefer Kwanzaa.
It's not a good response.
You know, go and
I love the idea of Kwanzaa. It's such a nice thing. You know,
spend the money in local businesses. You know, only give presents that educate or help people. So the only 2 Christmas presents I've bought this year were one for my daughter when she wanted a ukulele. And given that she lives with my ex-wife, I thought, you know, musical instrument for your kid, good idea. So I went for it.
perfect.
And you know, and I well, it has to be said. For at the same time, I bought one for myself because I thought, oh yeah, ukulele's a pretty, and it is an astonishingly easy instrument to learn.
Yeah.
If you've ever even vaguely played a guitar, it's considerably easier with the chords. I don't know how long I have to let the strings reseat because I had to restring it for left-handed. But that's actually not much of a problem on a ukulele because there's only 4 strings and you literally swap over the strings. But yeah, I managed to get it up and running and sort of play it and just like, oh yeah, I could probably do that with most of the stuff I can play on a guitar anyway. So yeah, I was Kwanzaa-ing. So I bought a book for somebody and I bought a musical instrument for someone else, and it's like, yeah, that's good. Those are good presents. I didn't buy a perfume selection pack or a packet of socks for anybody that they didn't fucking need or want. And it's just like, yeah, you know, if I knew I could buy somebody something that they would genuinely use, I'd do it. I'd be more into Christmas. But Kwanzaa is like, you know, this you're buying things with the idea of someone's betterment in mind.
Yeah.
Somebody can now play a musical instrument, or somebody that is creative will now go and be more creative. Excellent.
Yeah.
And Avagdu says Amazon needs to hire some drivers with balls. They won't drive when it snows. But yeah, I have.
All the posties in Australia are going. They're all got. There's been a response back from posties in Australia because of the bushfires all around the country, meaning that they won't go out because of the weather over here,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So there's the whole idea. If you know anyone who does digital, who does social media content, and active on social media, there's a job going at the National Broadcaster of Australia, the ABC, Triple J, and they want a full-time Sydney-based content maker for Triple J.
Wow. It has to be said, we got when I did actual community radio, we got quite a good listenership. Imagine just turning up. No, I'm just going to shoot the shit. I think people need it. We'll just find a really sort of super cynical person and they'll just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
I think we desperately need that. More of it.
I think, and the other person you need to get in contact with, and I'm sure that they will respond to you being doing it. You need to get hold of Lisa McKenzie, who has been, she's a doctor of sociology at Durham University, and she's been all over the Twitter storm for the election stuff, you know, and she's really informative on stuff. But yeah, I just logged into Twitter on Lisa. And we get yet another Brexit crisis here, and my series of 4 blogs over the
Well, this is proper fodder for your university course, isn't it?
Oh yeah, just like
You know, I mean, not just the fact that there's a UK election and how it went according to media and social media, but also that you took part in a live broadcast, where fair enough it was only single digits watching, but you know you've got that's quite a lot of people. You know, there's some people from Ramp Media in here, Misanthropic Gods is in here, Avagdu, Iron Angel Forge.
But they don't know who I
Yeah. Yeah.
My dream.
But it is interesting that there's, it's much better than going through it alone. And I will return the favour to all my non-UK friends. I'll do a call in for at least an hour or so. Because we've got to watch this shit go down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
yeah. We need some tactical librarians and tactical shamans stat.
Yeah.
So the current stats. I mean, Avagdu was saying Labour are ahead, but they did this to me last time. So Labour have got 9 seats at the moment of the declared seats, and the Conservatives have got 4, and nobody else has got anything right now. But that's 13 seats out of 650. And we know it's all going to nosedive, because
Yeah, we know it's going to take a while to get. Yeah.
this is just a count.
That change in voting in this, I think, number turnout.
Yeah, the voter turnout is despicable.
Yeah.
And it's actually gone up.
Australia, you're forced to vote.
It's actually gone up.
Forced to vote.
The number of the number of people that voted that could have voted.
Went through the roof, and then they still have managed to have less of a turnout than what they did.
Yeah, so it's now 2.6% down on the last general election.
Yeah.
So it's literally going up as they're doing the counts. It's like, oh, you proper bastards. So that means, a good 37.4%. Just decide. I might have my maths wrong. It's fueled by booze at the moment. But so it's just, So 37.5% of people didn't turn up to vote that were eligible to vote. Now, 1 or 2 of those people may have been terminally ill, or otherwise incapacitated, or otherwise unable to get out. And fair enough.
Yeah, but that was not the majority of.
But there again, you've had the option to postal vote.
Yeah.
You have the option of proxy voting. So it would have to be literally people that are unconscious that it would be okay for them not to vote in some way. Given all the warning and all the heads up and the fact that, I almost don't want to see the demographic. Because if it's young people, I'll be tremendously disappointed. If the majority of people that didn't vote were young. And you just think, wow.
Do you know how many seats Sinn Féin get in Northern Ireland? I know they don't stand in the Parliament as such. I know they refuse to go into the Parliament in the UK because they don't. Will they supply confidence or will they not supply confidence?
Well, hold on a sec. It's going to be very difficult to type. Drunk typing.
Use the typing. Very tricky keyboard.
It's a very clicky keyboard. I can't spell Sinn Féin, but
S-E-I-N.
okay.
S-I-N-N.
Okay, Sinn Féin has 7 MPs.
Yeah.
So that's...
They'll basically score the same number, but it's still not enough to even get them.
I don't know. I mean, if the exit poll is wrong, the people that suffer the most is going to be Northern Ireland.
Oh, for sure.
I don't really quite understand why Northern Ireland isn't currently unified as it is. But, now would be a good time to go, look, the odds are, the stakes are too frigging high. You've got a muppet in government that just is going to be Donald Trump's lapdog. They are going to fuck you 7 ways from Sunday. In every way they can possibly do it. They will drop all the standards in imported food, in your healthcare, in your pensions, absolutely everything that affects you, your taxes. They're going to make life an absolute heaven for billionaires. It's going to be so good in this country that even if Donald Trump doesn't get impeached, he'll probably live here.
Yes.
you know.
Something Trump powers.
So where is the line at which Sinn Féin go, oh no, fuck it, we got to wade in, and you know it. Can you imagine the Labour Party teamed with Sinn Féin? Given that Jeremy Corbyn has always tried to be reasonable about the whole Northern Ireland thing, and just, you know, absolutely decries it as a crying shame of people not being able to agree. And Boris Johnson comes in, and you know, it's a massive landslide. But there is a chance that if Sinn Féin take their seats in the the Westminster Parliament, they can swing it so that they can fucking stop it. You know, like everybody comes together against it, and it's just enough. However, people are dickheads, so no, that won't happen.
That won't happen because people.
Yeah, people aren't going to jump in the X-wings and go and see if they can sort out the Death Star.
No, exactly.
So yeah, never has Wogden been so required. Yeah.
I don't know what else to.
Yeah.
Prepare runs population of the UK.
It's amazing to watch.
Who has no medical care, no pension, to be working until you're 102 or dead. You know.
Yeah, somebody fetch me a Rorschach mask.
Yeah.
And then when the people scream to me to save them, I'll whisper no. Where's my funny mask? I mean, that doesn't really work with the new Watchmen series because the Rorschach mask wearing dudes are all racists. But, you know, you just... Yeah, it's great though. Here's your Recomedia for the week. If you haven't seen any of it and you have a way of finding it on the internet with your server magic, as all you cyber shamans do, it's well worth a watch. It just does not let up with the good. It is pretty amazing.
That was something I found. So, being the hater of Google that I am, that I despise and came up, there is, if you go on your Freedom Box, which you all sort of probably downloaded the image form by now, if you go and install your Freedom Box, there's a thing called SearchX, which basically strips all of the bullshit crap out of Google and all of those other corporations that have search engines, and allows you to search via multiple search engines at once and not be sitting inside of a like a bubble that basically feeds you back results that you know how you get fed back results that fit the demographic you fit in according to what the data mining can do. So it basically stops that policy from happening, it prevents it from happening.
Yeah.
So when you get it installed, go and install the search functionality and go and use that. And watch here for the Matrix. The Matrix chapter can happen too. I was trying to sort that out before, and I ran out of time to sort someone.
Yeah, I think, you know, 2020 is the year we make contact. So we just go, no. We build a system that's dead easy. You know, we sort out that Freedom Box. If we can persuade me to install it and get it up and running and doing its thing, then I'll happily run the Matrix server, and we'll distribute it across.
What I think is that the Matrix server can run on, like, everyone can have a supplier of the Matrix server running on their own Freedom Box, and all those Matrix servers will then tether back together to one another and allows independent, like, communication, like the original idea of the internet was. Stop talking at me, you're making me lose my train of thought, lady.
So,
What do you want? No, I'm not doing anything with you right now, I'm doing this right now. Wait there and do that. Don't talk to your face, your face will get stuck.
oh,
So what happens is you install a Matrix server on the Freedom Box in your house, whenever you know, like everyone does that, and then all those Matrix servers will basically pass information backwards and forwards, and it's decentralized. It's decentralized chat services. So if someone's Freedom Box falls over, they can still access like yours or someone else's to get access to the internet, like get access to the chat service.
yeah.
That means that it's more decentralized, you know, which is a great thing for the internet.
Yeah, I think at the very least we need to build a chat server in a library. And just go, no.
All sorts of stuff, like, you know, there's so much stuff on there, you just press a button and install and it works.
Yeah.
So far, the only thing that I've had any trouble with actually finding the instructions for is the encryption services. And that's been it.
Yeah, but we'll do it.
But it's, you know, otherwise easily done, and it's just a matter of reading instructions. Dead easy to do.
But we'll do a tutorial. We'll do a video tutorial. Don't worry about that. We'll figure out some way to do that. Because yeah, that now needs to happen. Because it's just like no. You know.
I'm gonna go and run away and do some stay-at-home dating with my homeschool daughter.
Mm.
And do some Minecraft. So I will leave you all in peace. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
You know, fingers crossed for a massive surprise that I don't think can possibly happen.
Yeah.
I'll be watching it live all day.
Yes.
More and more upset with me first.
Yeah.
If you get to go to bed and I just stay away.
Okay. Well, you have a good time, man, and yeah, we'll leave it.
I'll talk to you.
We'll open the channel.
I hope you all have a lovely day.
Yeah. This is fun. Take care, man. Let me come out of Discord. Boom. So yeah, the floor's open. Yeah, we got like a really amazing hit rate. Like 40% of the people listening have so far phoned in on average. So yeah, if anybody else wants to jump in, it's in the Discord. Because that's the thing that's currently hooked up, and there's been booze had. Wow. So yeah, I'm flying the ghost ship of this radio station. But yeah, that's how you win an election. That's it happening in real time. And Labour's still teasing me. Oh wow. So the turnout was only 63.1%, which is down 2.6% on last year, and that number looks to grow as the night continues. Wow. So yeah, anybody got anything to say? Oh. Clicky keyboard is clicky. I can punctuate. So yeah. It's amazing. It's kind of open season for anybody that isn't in the UK. So yeah, it's taken away any superiority any English person might ever have over you over again. You absolutely don't need to listen to an English accent and think, oh right. So yeah, you don't have to listen to a snooty accent ever again in your whole life. So something has been gained out of the evening. Oh, wow. Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Yeah. The turkeys just voted for Christmas. It's on. Well, that's funny. I don't know if any of you out there know this, but there was a weird concept of a person, the average voter, called Workington Man, and Workington Man just voted Labour by a staggering majority. They lost to the Conservatives. The Conservatives won Workington. So that was their ideal person, and now it's 6 Conservative seats to 10 Labour seats. It's all going down the tubes. And that's social media manipulation. Ugh. That's amazing. Yeah. I got my war haircut. Totally just in time for this. I type with Thor's hammer, Iron Angel. Yeah. No, I wanted a really nice keyboard, and this was the very cheapest one. It's very garish and ugly. It's one of those illuminated keyboards that changes colour no matter what you do. So, but yeah, I wanted the tactile typing feel. Yes. Well, I think everybody will agree that I have every reason, as everything good about my country goes to auction. Yeah. This is justified drinking on the Rangers or the Urban Agoge live stream. Oh, wow. But on the plus side, I don't have to look at anybody tomorrow and think you people voted Conservative. So there's that. That's all I've got to cling to. Let's click back to Sky News. Conservatives on 6 seats, Labour on 10. No other seats declared for any other party. And there will be people that will have voted SNP because they wanted to stop Brexit. And there will be people that voted, Lib Dem to avoid Brexit. And there will be people that voted Green. And in some good news, at least the number of people that were eligible to vote dropped that lower than last time, dropped to 2.4%. So, but yes, as I broadcast out into the ether, losing and gaining people. We're on 6 people watching now, but it's not accurate. Wow. So yeah, I've probably next year in November sometime, I've got to book off some days so I can drink heavily and watch the US elections and watch Bernie Sanders not be President of the United States, or anybody, almost anybody other than Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. This is the time when heroes are made, and it would be a terrible thing for humanity if those heroes don't step forward anywhere. This is how Orwell felt when he saw the Spanish Civil War kick off. Yeah. As the country slides into disrepute and poverty for the majority. Oh man. How is Jeremy Corbyn feeling right now? Here, let me make Star Trek for you. Let me improve the lives of the ordinary working people. Or you can slide into decadent Tory rule where we sell off everything. Yeah, Project Morlock is now absolutely required. We need to get fitter. If there was ever a spur to be in good shape, because if there are people here from the Rant Media forums dropping in and dropping out, then you won't know this, but Urban Agoge was all about me getting fit enough, and I managed to get all the way to a 5k run. Wow, it's dropped down to 3. It's lucky I'm not watching that number. So we've had about an hour of Rembimon, an hour of Harlequin. We've had some Misanthropic Gods. Is there another contender to go, wow man, your country be fucked? As I watch the chat, and it's just going to go, yeah, your country be fucked, man. Wow. Yeah, English guy goes to pieces after result of general election. This is going to become a meme. I mean, there's probably a good thing that the resolution on my webcam is so bad it will look like nothing. If it was like a nice clear shot of, people going to pieces after the UK election. It'd just be a gif of me waving my arms around. Hold on, I'm just going to fetch my lightsaber. Wow. So I understand if there's only so much depression you can take. Let's click back to Sky News. Oh yeah, as it turns. Tories 8 seats, Labour 11. That's 20 out of 650 declared. The Liberal Democrats have scored a seat. You dickheads. Why? So yeah. It's pretty mental over here in England. Oh. So yeah. So if ever you needed a reason to own guns, or you needed a reason to own bushcrafting equipment, or you had a reason to learn how to do electronics or learn how networks work, or learn any skill that doesn't seem particularly relevant, everything's being reinforced tonight. Every weird thing that you've ever done, every rant radio episode you've ever listened to was totally time well spent. You know, maybe not the conspiracy stuff. We probably wasted some time watching Alex Jones, if we're all to be honest. And you know, every joke. You know, this is going to echo round the world. Yeah, as Iron Angel says, the UK and the US are now in great alignment. Oh, you know, it would absolutely be worth it to, you know, if the results of the UK general election encouraged, you know, the American election to go in a more socially responsible way, because more people would benefit in an altruistic way. And speaking as someone that doesn't really need a doctor all that often, you know, and is in a job that it's hard to replace. So, yeah. So, wow. Yeah, it's going to totally happen. Yeah. So it's 8 to 12. Let's have a look. So the turnout looks... the turnout's looking to be 65.5%, which I suppose isn't bad. But you'd think it would be much higher, given that what was at stake. So yes. So if you're just joining us, or you're bouncing back, or YouTube is just lying to me about the number of people streaming, welcome to V's slow sink into alcoholism. Like literally the last time I drank any alcohol was at EMF last year in September. So literally, maybe apart from a nip, and I repeat nip, well, EMF and the Byline Festival this last September, where I drank terrible wine with somebody that occasionally appears in the Discord known as Chipco.